but it was actually our old detector. We switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Okay,
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Of Yankees and Mets all season long. WFAN, WFAN FM.
Play one more.
WFAN FM 81, New York.
Good evening at 7 o'clock. This is Rick Jacobin on a hot, stormy day in the Bronx. The Yanks offense came alive and they took the finale from the Angels 7-4. Falling behind early, Trent Grisham and Paul Goldschmidt hit back-to-back homers in the second to give the Yanks a lead they never give up. And the six-game skid is history. Carlos Rodon gave up homers to Mike Trout in the first and Joe Adell in the second, but gutted out to give up 3 runs on 4 hits and struck out 7 and walked 1. He improves to 9-5 after a 6-inning performance today. The Mets will try to avoid their skid from reaching 6 as they try to salvage a win from their 3-game series in Atlanta. Clay Holmes takes them out against Spencer Strider shortly. The Mets get the Braves All-Star tonight, and then Zach Wheeler in Philly. Coverage on Odyssey Mets Radio. And Carlos Mendoza said earlier today, Frankie Montas set to join the Mets, and he'll start against the Braves next week. Former Jets linebacker C.J. Mosley announced his retirement today on his 33rd birthday. The 5-time Pro Bowler played just 4 games this year due to toe and neck injuries. And the Liberty host the Phoenix Mercury. This report is sponsored by Ray Cattina Mercedes-Benz of Edison and by Staples. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got us saying it again for custom print, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 90% of the United States. That was easy. The man who always makes it look easy, Keith McPherson, coming up.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan, always live on the free Odyssey. AM to AM on WFAN.
Let's get it, New York City. Stay dry out there. The sun will come out. Tanaka, bet your bottom dollar that Tanaka, there'll be sun. Yeah, I just started calling Sean's show about the weather. You know, the Yankees are always weather affected, but that isn't why they just played how they played. Let's not do that again. How about that? Stanton was right. We don't get swept at home. Good grief. What a week. And now that the Yankees, all the players, the manager, Brian Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner, the whole organization knows how the fans really feel about them. Tell me how you really feel. Hopefully they can put that behind them and, I don't know, try to make that literal history, that scoreless streak, just make that a thing in the past. Let Katie Sharp pull that up in like 300 years. Let that losing streak be the longest one of the next 10 seasons. Because it's hard as fans. It's hard for us to handle that. It's hard for us to deal with that. We need baseball. It is a friend. It is a companion. When you're alone and you're by yourself, even when you go to the game and you're surrounded by 43,000 other people, you have so many hopes and wants and dreams invested in the New York Yankees and what they're going to do that night, how they're going to make you feel that night. And they made us feel like crap for a week. But yeah, enough of that. Positive energy, positive vibes. They did it today. And today we heard that Luke Weaver was coming back. So I guess they just didn't want to have any save situations. They just knew Luke was going to come back. So they just lost for a week. And now, hey, watch, tomorrow, Baltimore, Luke will be thrust into action and whatever. All good. Devin Williams, I see you. We'll get to Devin Williams. Let's go back to the game today. You knew there would be some weather and some weather delays today, a 105 start. The series was already lost, but don't get swept at home. Back in the Diamondback series, Giancarlo Stanton said, we don't get swept at home. And I've been fearful of that the whole season. I thought that the Mets might come in that first Subway Series and sweep the Yankees. I thought anybody would just because that was out there. But, hey, they did not get swept. And Carlos Rodon, I see you, bro. I was worrisome. I had no real hope or faith in Carlos Rodon getting it done. But ultimately, this game starts, and you knew they were due for a double-digit day. I think I said that last night. I've been saying that the last couple nights, that this is not who they are. This team is better than last year. This lineup is deeper than last year. This team does play defense better. This team does do the little fundamental things better. But another game where the Yankees don't have the lead, right? That was also another streak that went on for some 50 innings. They didn't have a lead since the Kansas City game. They give up a solo shot. And then they do a little bit of small ball. Okay, all right. Goldie with a double, Belly with a single, Judge with another K. Judge was 3 for his last 29 with 18 strikeouts at that point. I know Judge is the greatest hitter we've ever seen, but man, he was in a bad one. I want to say he's out of it. We'll get to it. Stanton singles, Belly's hustling and he's safe at second. Oh, wait, they got to review it. Just kidding. He's not safe. The call on the field stands. There's no hit for Stanton, and Belly's out because they didn't have enough evidence to overturn it. Or they didn't have enough courage to say, yeah, we can see enough space between Zach Neto's foot and the bag. He's safe. Overturn the call. Overturn the call. Through this whole stretch, going back to Boston, the umpires have been terrible. And we're going to talk about it tonight, and I don't care. Oh, don't complain about the officiating. No, I think we need to complain louder, specifically about Major League Baseball home plate umpires, the umpire crew, and the review system being broken. What is the point of having the ability to stop the game when you guys put a pitch clock in the game and did all these things for pace of play? What is the point of stopping the game to look at the play and not get it right? It is infuriating. Whatever. Rodon back to his old tricks, can't keep the ball in the ballpark. Joe Adell homers for the second day in a row, and I'm like, come on, bro. But Rodon gets out of the inning, and then the tarp is coming on, and it was the shortest rain delay in the history of rain delays. It was only 8 minutes. I think we had one of those in Kansas City, too, and they are used to that out there in Missouri, but that was longer. And, man, shout out to the Yankees Stadium grounds crew, the best in the business. They were on top of it. And then Volpe leads off the inning, and they flash the stat that he's 0 for his last 17. And I'm like, oh, after last night. But he works a walk. Then Wells, GIDP. DJ gets a knock, and then here comes that man. We'll hear from that man, Trent Grisham. Trent Grisham, first pitch swinging, hits a home run. His first homer since May 30th against the Dodgers. And the Yankees have a lead. They take the lead back. Hooray. And then Goldie comes up, a back-to-back and a belly-to-belly. Boom. The most runs that the Yankees had in 18 days since June 11th. 4. Whatever, I'll take it. Whatever. And then as we proceed, the third inning, we get through the third inning. Judge walks, Stanton ground in a double play. Fourth inning, this is where the umpires were terrible. Joe Adell strikes out, and he's walking to his dugout. He knows he struck out. And they say he doesn't go. The first, what was this guy's name? Bill Miller, the first base ump, emphatically moves his hands and says, nope. And then he ends up working a walk, and I'm sitting there in my house saying, okay, this is where Rodon unravels. This is something he's not going to be able to overcome. This is damn near cheating. This sucks. But Rodon, I've been impressed with your ability to just move on. It must be the beard. It must be the comfort of a nice warm beard on your face that doesn't make you feel naked out there and makes you feel great about yourself and say, you know what? No biggie. No biggie. No biggie. We know. So they keep it moving. But it's a joke. The replay system is broken. We need the ABS system ASAP. I have some shirts that say ABS ASAP. The automatic balls and strikes can't get here soon enough. These guys are out there asleep at the wheel, but then they're making calls with conviction. It's terrible. It's going to cost somebody in the postseason. But whatever. Moving on. At this point, I'm just hoping that the game stays 4-2. I'm hoping that the Yankees just win it 4-2. Good enough for me. And with 1 out and 82 pitches, Rodon gives up another homer to make it 4-3. 1-run lead. I'm like, oh, we're going to have to sweat this out. And right there, I'm starting to think about Devin Williams. Oh, no. Like, we cannot get swept in a situation where it's a 1-run game and Devin Williams gives up 2 runs. I'm thinking that in the 6th inning. I'm like, okay, we need an insurance run or two. Don't let this come down to the bullpen, whether it's Devin Williams or Mark Leiter Jr. or whoever blowing it. I'm looking for the bullpen budget. They do give us the bullpen budget, but it doesn't matter, whatever. Jazz gets a knock with one out. Here comes Volpe and Wells again, the chicken parm partners. Volpe force out at second, 2 outs. Wells gets a hit. Full count on DJ. And here is where the Yankees run the bases like drunks. It's what they do. And it's a full count, 2 outs. Yes, they're going. But I don't know where the hell Wells was going. It's a base running error. It's a blunder. It's giving away outs. It's another mistake when you were rallying. You have runners on. DJ hasn't been bad, right? DJ's whole MO is the machine, right? And I know he's a little washed, the washing machine, but you're thinking, hey, maybe he can hit it to the outfield. And with Volpe's speed, he could potentially score that insurance run. And so the pickoff move comes and Wells gets to second, but then they call it Volpe stealing. That goes as a caught stealing on Volpe to end the inning. And I'm like, come on, another rally killer. Like, they got to shake this off. And I'm like, I know they're going to blame this on Boone. I know they're going to blame this on Boone. Anyway, as we proceed, Grisham showed me something today. Last night I said I was done with him leading off. I took some calls where people were saying they were done with him in the outfield starting. 888-808-1019. We'll have the conversation about Grisham versus Jason Dominguez and who should be getting more playing time and how they're going to work all that out. And listen, Grisham showed me something today. He doesn't need to lead off, but he showed some fight today, some calm today, some steadiness today. And as much as I was looking for some rah-rah guys, somebody to yell, flip a table, they called a players-only meeting, then Boone said they didn't, and I don't know. I'm looking for somebody to just show some emotion, get mad, get pissed off in this. Like Trent Grisham being even-keeled, not pressing. Like that, he was the guy today, and I think that he really was the guy to break this thing open, and he had that double there, and it was his first game since May 12th with 2 extra base hits. And I feel like some of us had soured on him. We felt like he regressed. We felt like, hey, this guy was supposed to be a 4th outfielder, and now he turned into our everyday starting center fielder. We're leading him off way too much. Go back to what you originally planned. No, listen. And shout out to Belly. I think these are good problems to have. Now, some of you are going to call and complain about Aaron Boone. This week, I took calls that Boone should be fired. They'll never win with Aaron Boone. And I'm sure I'll take some calls tonight about Boone and what he has to manage. He has to now manage Trent Grisham, Jason Dominguez, Bellinger, where these guys play in the outfield. He also has to manage now Ben Rice, who we saw get a start behind the dish last night. And then also you have J.C. Escara, Austin Wells. Then he also has to manage Stanton being back. Stanton has to DH, when to not DH him, and when to have that spot open, when to put Judge there as a half day. There's a lot going on. But anyway, rain delay happens again. And I feel like coming back from this later rain delay, the Yankees can smell a win. And they come out and you get that Yankee defense. Jazz on his back foot, hot corner, fires one to get the out, to get, the speedy Neto. And then Shanuel hits one up the middle. It knocks Loiza's glove off. DJ charges and makes the play. And later on in that inning, another janky thing happens. But this time it goes the Yankees' way. Judge swings and misses. He runs about 3 to 4 steps down the first base line, thinking that, hey, I swung and missed. I got to get going. And then the home plate ump says no, foul ball. That ball went off the catcher's glove. I don't know what they're seeing out there. These guys are obviously we have slow-mo and yes-mo and we're watching at home. But in real time, these umpires are asleep at the wheel. They're not seeing the game as it actually is. And I want to say that hopefully that's the thing that breaks Judge out of his slump, because Judge got a mulligan, right? A couple pitches later, Judge hits that leadoff double, and that's his first extra base hit since the homer off of Garrett Crochet Friday night. In this terrible slump where he had all of these strikeouts, couldn't get it going, dropped his average 40 points. That was a mulligan that maybe, I don't know, that's why I said maybe the baseball gods were with us. Last night I was talking about Angels in the outfield for Anaheim. I don't know, maybe something right there changed for Judge. And then Stanton walks, and we're in another rain delay. And I don't know, it gets late in the game. I have 100 pages of notes, but essentially at the end of the game, we are able to get a perfect bunt from Jazz coming back from the rain delay. And then later in that inning, we get a sac fly from Austin Wells. I heard Emmanuel read a Katie Sharp stat that Austin Wells leads the league in sac flies, and the Yankees lead the league in sac flies. So they are able to do the fundamental things. They are able to practice situational hitting. They are able to do what we say that they can't do. And I think today was just a good day to like go out there, put it all on display, not get swept, and put this whole thing behind them. Let the rain wash away all the nonsensical play, all the mistakes, all the terrible at-bats, and all the fans complaining and hating on the manager and the team. It's over. Let's now look into the series tomorrow against Baltimore. It's going to be hot. There's going to be a lot of people out there. Man, sweep the Orioles. You cannot lose another series to the Orioles. You already went down to Camden Yards and did that. And let's right the ship and get going, because it's not going to get easy. Nobody's going to feel sorry for the Yankees. Their little 2-game lead in first place, like they got to get that back up to 7. I will not be happy until they get that back up to like 7 games where it was. Luke Weaver coming back, all is well that ends well. We're going to talk about Volpe tonight. I already have a call about Volpe replacement. There is no replacement for Anthony Volpe. Is it disappointing to see a game like he had last night, running into the, getting thrown out at second, and then a tailor-made double play ball that he botches, a play that he's probably made in his sleep, could probably make with his eyes closed, and then he can't even make the throw to Peraza in front of him. And then, that last out, I didn't even see it last night because I was driving in. I heard it. He swung under that ball by like 6-7 inches. It's tough, but man, that is your shortstop. He is. And we need him to come out of it. We need him to be better. He is streaky, sometimes inconsistent, but there's no better option. And as much as we heard all the negative things about the Yankees, give them some praise tonight. And let's turn the page tonight. 888-808-1019. We've got the NBA Finals coming up. OKC looking to close out. Tyrese Halliburton will play at 8:30. I think it's OKC, Thunder, and 6. And on my screen right now, it's underway. 1 out in the top of the first. The Mets looking to make it happen against Spencer Strider and the Braves. They're trying to avoid the sweep down in the House of Horrors that is Truist Park in Atlanta. This is Keith McPherson on the Fan. Can't wait to talk to you. I'm only on till 10 p.m. It's Fanatics Fest Eve. I'll be at Fanatics Fest tomorrow morning. I'll be there Saturday. I'll be there Sunday. I'll be at the Yankee game. It's summertime, man. Let's have a good time. Call the Fan. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
You're juggling work, life, and receivers who can't catch a cold. We get it. And we got you. New York sports. No filter. The Fan, 1019 FM, and always live on the Free Odyssey app. Mercedes-Benz. Make this a summer to remember during Mercedes-Benz Dream Days at Mercedes-Benz of Edison.
Together, let's drive a Paramus Chevrolet for just $289 a month and $27.17 down. Lease a brand new Blazer EV40 wagon LT with all-wheel drive for 36 months. Buying, enjoy 0.0% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. Visit ParamusChevrolet.com today.
Come on, the Yankees. Saturday, June 28th. To see the Yankees on a very special day. It's military.
Chat already rocking off a bit. I need to send this out on Instagram. Yo, fuck with me, man. Fuck with me, man. I'm on a live and direct, downtown New York City. Your boy KM on the Fan here. Copy link. And let's go here. Live. I stay on the live. They told me you gotta go live. Pull up.
Overnight service may be slow. Terms apply. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
It's been over 7 years since Pastor Billy Richards was treated successfully for prostate cancer by Pearl Mother Cancer Center, the world's #1 Cyber9 program. After 5 treatments in 1 week, Pastor Billy went right back to leading his Brooklyn congregation.
Okay.
It's truly a blessing for me, my family, and my.
We'll kill that. Let me get this Mets box score up. Yo, did I email you? Let me see. Yo, I just sent you an email with some audio clips. And I need the Mets score up right now. Or at least the game day, the live. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, chat, and then when we're done clearing the chat, and let me back up a little bit here. Let me see. That's better. And then let me pull this back a little bit, like right here. That's better. Lock it. Locked. Locked and loaded. Oh, sun's out, guns out. I told y'all I wasn't playing around this year. Juan Soto, single. All right, what they talking about? Mo, what up? Pam, what up? Hector, what up? Keith, that Nets jersey is popping. I see the Yankees trying to smell better after being stuck in for nevertheless, they still in first. They got to add some wins in these next few games. Yeah, man, gotta get right. All right. I sent you the Boone one. Okay, let me get Boone. All right, send him Boone right now. Here's Boone. Asleep at the wheel. Yeah, they were. And the Mets get nada. Marcus, what's good? What up, yo? Amber in here too. What up, Amber? What time is it in Utah? Good evening. Fanatics Fest is going to be insane. Fanatics Fest I cannot wait. I am made for Fanatics Fest. I am the exact type of person you drop in Fanatics Fest. Came to the PM, you heard? Military time. Yeah. And we're back.
You are now in the mix with DJ Big Zoowop on the pen and your host, Keith McPherson.
888-808-1019. Watching the Mets game. They got 2 hits in that first inning, but scratch no runs across. But I think that's at least a good sign that they're putting bat to ball early on Spencer Strider. Now let's see what Clay Holmes is going to do. And let's see what you're going to do on the fan tonight. We've got a full rack of calls. We're going to talk about the Yankees. We're going to talk about the Mets. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals. But yes, the Yankees win. And to the victor go the spoils. And we have some positive energy. But Also, some negative energy still looming. It was a rough week. So I know people are going to be critical and have some things to say. Let's hear from them. First is Tyler in Colonia on the Fan. What's up, Ty? Hanging in there on a Friday or a Thursday. I mean, it pretty much is. Fanatics Fest is tomorrow, so we'll be out there. Oh, it's Juneteenth today. That's what it was. It is a holiday today. That's why it threw me off. I'm at work too. Of course. Yeah, thanks for the call, Tyler. I've been concerned all week. I'm the first voice that comes on after these losses. I didn't even want to do these shows. I was off all last weekend thinking I dodged it, right? Thinking I dodged the Red Sox commentary, and then I come into this. The Angels is even worse. Let's start with Volpe. It is compounded, and I always say things are compounded with the Yankees. It's complicated. It always is. There are fans that are never going to rock with Volpe because they feel like Volpe was the prospect that stopped us from making certain trades to get certain players. That's not Anthony Volpe's fault. There are also some fans that feel like Anthony Volpe was overhyped. He was a top prospect, top pick. He was ranked really high, but that's also not Volpe's fault. Like, he earned that, and rankings are what they are, and you still got to come through Major League Baseball and play and prove it. Also, the ties to Derek Jeter, right? They showed that picture of young Volpe with Jeter. I think Volpe was, an elementary school kid. That's also not that guy's fault. Whatever. The Jersey, New York, right? His family being Yankee fans and being born in the city, growing up in Jersey, local, one of us, Del Barton guy. There are some people now that are saying, to hell with all that. We don't care where you're from. There's also the factor of he did not have the proper development because of COVID and because of moves that were made with IKF. And then he came into camp and they gave him, IKF, and Peraza the opportunity, right? You guys forget that Peraza was the starting shortstop in the 2022 ALCS. They gave him the opportunity to come in and compete, and the kid worked his butt off and he won the job. But where we are now, what is his fault is he is streaky. He is inconsistent. And for some of the good, like the doubles and, when he is able to steal bases and when he is a Gold Glove shortstop, when he can go to his right and make a Jeter-type play, that's all great. But then in crunch time, in moments where you need him the most and he bobbles a ball, bobbles a double play, and it seems like the ball eats him up when we need it late in the game where it's like, that can't happen. And then I don't know how many Yankee games I've watched where he's the last guy up. He's always the final out. He's always making the final out. Even last night, I'm like, I knew it was going to come around to Volpe. When he boxed that double play, I swear I looked at the box score and I'm like, okay, Dominguez is coming up. Dominguez was batting behind Volpe. I'm like, I guarantee they bat around and this comes back to Volpe in the end of the game. He's got to be more consistent. And I know he's putting the work in and he's accountable. And he talked about it last night, that they all have a high standard for themselves and a high bar. He turned 24 2 months ago. He's not a finished product. The Yankees love him. His teammates love him. I think his teammates came out today and turned it on after they knew that was a rough one for him last night. I said last night, come on down, Anthony. You're the whipping boy. These fans have had enough. Yankees Twitter is going crazy. But that's your shortstop. You have no better option. And, we've seen the Grand Slam in the World Series. We've seen some clutch hits. We've seen and so many people asking, like, oh, they need to give him a rest. Can they rest him? No, he's a young guy. He's got to fight through it. He's got to work through it. And what I hope is this makes him better for it. I hope that, going through the struggles, it just hardens him and gives him just the ability to be more consistent and also weather the storms. And I don't know. Is he ever going to be an all-star? And that's another thing that's compounded. Too many of y'all compare him to Bobby Witt or Gunnar Henderson or Corbin Carroll or CJ Abrams or Zach Neto, or he's his own guy. He's his own guy. And he's not a detriment to the team. They're going to win games with Anthony Volpe. 888-808-1019. Now, do I have some other concerns about the base running? Of course. Do I have some concerns about not stringing together hits, not being able to play small ball, not doing simple things like moving runners over and sacrifice flies? Sure. But I just think that they were in a rut. And ultimately, that is baseball Susan. That's not Susan's brand of baseball, but that is baseball Susan. Susan, hopefully you're feeling better as the day went on. We look forward to hearing you on the call against Baltimore. George is in Fairfield, Connecticut, next on the Fan. George, talk to us. Good. Thanks.
Strike three today will get him out of his slump, right? And I believe it's reverse karma from what happened a week ago today. Do you know what happened a week ago today regarding Judge?
They sat him down in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And Judge gave Boone a proposition. He said, if I homer in the first two games of the series, will you let me start the third game of the series? He did homer, and Boone still said, no, this is a stretch of 16 games. You need to find the big guy a day off. They gave him that day off, and he has not been right since. And I'm hoping that, like I said, today, that mulligan that he got, where he hit that double after that, I hope that is it, and he tears it up this weekend.
Yeah, just in general, I'm always a believer. If you're hot, don't mess with it. You know what I mean? If he'd had a couple bad games, that's one thing. But
and especially when he's not asking for rest. This is the captain. This is the face of the franchise and the league. He's going for the Triple Crown. He was trying to stay up there with Cal Raleigh for the lead in home runs. He was right there with him. If he's not asking for the rest, I don't know. It's what they believe in. They believe in scheduled rest. They're going to rest DJ. They're going to rest Stanton. They're going to rest Goldschmidt. They're going to rest Judge. All these guys are 33 and older. They're going to get rest days. Even Jazz. They did that to Jazz. Jazz played 4 games. They rested him and cooled him off. And he's just now getting back right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that it is a long season, and hopefully they've righted the ship today, and they're going to win some and lose some. But I think they're going to win more than they lose. Coming up. So
thanks for the call, George. I don't think it's going to be a Boone June swoon. I don't think it's going to be that June gauntlet like it was last year. I remember getting on the Fan last year and looking at that schedule and saying, wow, we're going to go through it. And that was based on the level of competition. That was based on facing the Dodgers, the Braves, the Mets, the Orioles when they were better. I'm like, there's just better teams that we're facing. And it's going to be tough to take all the series from these teams. I think they had to go through this little rut because they were smelling themselves. They were feeling themselves. Everybody was telling them how great they are. We leaned into it too much here on the Fan. This time a week ago, it was who's better, Mets or the Yankees? Subway Series, the 2020, we just could not resist in early June talking about the Mets and the Yankees being in first place and how the writing is on the wall for them to meet in the World Series. No, it's not. What wall? There's so many more walls. We got to walk through 6-7 more hallways of walls before we get to who's going to play in the World Series. Take it day by day, game by game, series by series, week to week, month to month. It's hard to do because we do these shows daily, nightly. We take your calls. We put stuff out on social media. People react. And that's another thing. In this modern day time, there are so many radio shows, podcasts, TV shows, social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, where people can write and react. This was an overreaction week. 20, 30 years ago, there weren't as many places for people to complain, where the days would kind of roll by and it'd be like, yeah, it sucks. You might talk to your coworker. Like, I literally came out of my building today, walking to the train. I saw this guy lives in my building, and we both had our headsets in, but I knew what he was going to say. He put his fist in the air and first said, how about them Yankees? With a smile on his face. and the guy ain't smiled in a week. I knew what he was going to say, but 30 years ago, you didn't have all these constant reminders that the Yankees suck. You didn't have all of these alerts and things that you were reading and listening to that they haven't scored, that they haven't won, that they're in a rut, that this guy is slumping and that guy is slumping, and they're slumping together. And Aaron Boone and these Yankees, this version of Aaron Boone's Yankees, and this is what they're gonna do again, and this is what they did in the World Series, and this is why they can. And that's done. That's done. Shout out to Jazz Chisholm though. Since coming off the IL, Jazz has a .326 batting average with 14 hits, 3 homers, 8 ribbies, 6 runs scored in 13 games since June 3rd. And Jazz is a guy that they traded for at the deadline last year. And I felt like he was an important piece. I thought he was going to lead off. If you remember correctly, he played center field in Fenway his first game. But that was like an inflection point. That was a checkpoint in the season, right? I remember last year talking about how the Yankees, they had struggled a bit last year in June and into July. But then once they got Jazz on the team a little bit before the actual trade deadline, they started to win. They started to hit. They started to pick up the momentum. So that's another thing with this June slump, this June losing streak, scoreless streak. I won't call it the swoon. It's not a swoon because I don't think that they're going to struggle. I think that they broke out of it. The weather definitely had a part of it. It being muggy, it being rainy. They are weather affected all year. Go back and look at all the rain delays. Look at any time they had cold weather or rain in the forecast early in the year, they couldn't play through it. I think it's healthy for them to have this reality check, this gut check upstairs as well. I think as they go through their meetings and they look at the personnel they have and they look at who they don't have, like now we know Jake Cousins isn't coming back, but JT Brubaker is around. Scott Efros was here and there. Luke Weaver is coming back. Stanton came back this week. Luis Gil is going to throw against batters. Luis Gil will face live batting practice Saturday. That'll be his first time facing live batters. I think as they see who they have and who they don't have, and then they also struggle against teams like the Red Sox and the Angels, it's a reality check that we need more. It's a reality check that we're going to need another bat. We're going to need some other arms. We're going to need some different personalities in this clubhouse. Something to shake the room. That's the phrase I always use. Please add a player or 2 or 3 or 4 that will shake the room. Even subtract a guy. I was screaming this week, hey, maybe they need to trade somebody this week. The Red Sox traded Devers. Maybe the Yankees got to get somebody up out of here. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the fan. It's June 19th. And, the Yankees were looking like they need the All-Star break. And the All-Star break is, I don't know, less than a month away. But there is no break. And I also mentioned the 16-game stretch that they're in. There is no break. And they have so many different players at different positions. They just had to go through this. It's a long season. Let's play 2 clips of audio before I take another call. One, and this will go back to what I'm talking about. It's a long season, and these guys are pros, and they know it. And I also think it's healthy for the fans. I know I had a take this week where I said, be careful with your takes. Be careful saying that this team is not better than last year. Be careful saying that this team can't hit and that this lineup isn't as deep as it needs to be. And, Cashman, again, made a flawed team. And be careful saying what Aaron Boone can and can't do. Let's hear from Aaron Boone about Trent Grisham, who, was a star today. And I really look at Trent Grisham and how he's a slow heartbeat guy and how he's a smooth operator, as somebody that you need to stay that way when the going gets tough. Let's play Yankees manager Aaron Boone post-game today, what he had to say.
Aaron, the other day when we asked you about the team pressing, in that conversation you mentioned you didn't think Trent Grisham was capable of pressing. What did you mean by that?
You ever seen him go get a fly ball?
Yeah.
Hit a homer and flip his bat and catch the barrel. He doesn't know press, and I really didn't think that was the case last night. The one night I thought I felt that a little bit was the second game of that Angel series, just where I felt like guys were feeling a little bit, and that's the only time through this week, where we haven't put runs on the board. Otherwise, I feel like it's been business as usual.
So I don't think he knows pressing either. Trent Grisham is a guy who was glued to the bench last year. Trent Grisham is a guy who was thrown into the Juan Soto trade as a salary dump. Not a lot of salary, but just get this guy up out of here. We don't want to pay him. We don't want him. We don't need him. We don't have any room for him. If you remember correctly, in the June gauntlet last year against the Dodgers, some Yankee fans chanted, "We want Soto," while Trent Grisham was at the plate. That bothered me. That bothered Judge. It bothered a lot of these Yankees, but they understand, right? They got booed this week. They understand. The fans want to win. Jeter talked about, in 98, walking the streets, and as many games as they won, a fan checking him like, "Hey, you better be ready to go." Speaking of ready to go, the Mets are ready to go. Ronnie Mauricio, and Tyrone. You better call Tyrone with the speed. So Tyrone Taylor singles. He steals second. Francisco Alvarez grounds out. And Tyrone Taylor is able to score on a Ronnie Mauricio single. The Mets are hitting Spencer Strider. They have 4 hits. 1-0 Mets in Atlanta as we go to the bottom of the second. Let's now hear from Trent Grisham after the game. Trent Grisham is a guy with the mustache, and he's got the dark shades. And when he tracks a fly ball, he makes it seem like he's not breaking a sweat. Here's what Trent Grisham had to say after being a star in the game today.
A couple of times this week, if the team had been pressing, he mentioned about you. He said he didn't think you were capable of pressing, and he mentioned about how you field and bat flips and stuff like that. Is that just a kind of chill attitude by you, or do you make a conscious effort to not be affected too much by the day to day?
No, I think you have to make a conscious effort. This game over 180 days will beat you up. So that was something that was taught to most all of us when we were younger, coming up through the minor leagues, and I don't think you really understand until you get to this level. But when you get to a team like this with a bunch of veterans around and seeing the way they lead and seeing the way that they're consistent day in and day out, it rubs off on guys.
Trent Grisham is a guy who has gone through a lot. If you remember correctly, back in 2019, when Juan Soto hit that ball to right field against the Milwaukee Brewers, he misplayed it. And that was to the misfortune of the Brew Crew. And the Nationals win that game, and then they go on to win the World Series. He had to deal with that. I also mentioned how he had to deal with being the throw-in in the Juan Soto trade. I also mentioned how last year he was glued to the bench. And the Yankees didn't even want to use him over an Alex Verdugo, who's playing in this Mets-Braves series. They didn't even want to use him in the postseason. And I think Boone alluded to this year kind of having a little bit of regret, or maybe not regret, but I forget the word Boone used about not getting Trent involved, not getting him regular at-bats. He struggled last year because he played like once every 3 series or something, So I think Trent Grisham is a slow heartbeat guy. I think he's good for this Yankees team. I think he's the type of guy in that clubhouse that comes in every day and he's emotionless. He's not laughing. He's not smiling. He's not mad. He's not pissed off. He's going to work. And he went to work today. Stay tuned for the big shot of the night coming up next. Keith McPherson on the Fan, dial 888-808-1019. Don't go anywhere because we're coming right back.
It's BP and Sal, middays 10 to 2 on the Fan.
So we'll do big shot right here.
All right, chat. I already know the answer to this, but who should be the big shot of the night? I just queued it up, I just set it up. Let's see. Do I have the rap for this? Game day? Cody needs some love, but Grisham, I mean, I've given Cody a couple big shots. He definitely is a big shot in the Subway Series. This one's going to Grish. Yankees win. Tell everyone. We keep talking about Soto. Sometimes they need to let it go, but he is not slumping with the Mets. He had a knock. He's got a hit already. He's 1 for 1. Goldschmidt has been good for us this season. He's batting over 300. I'll take it. They said he was washed. I wanted him on this team. Yeah, who is going to be the leadoff hitter? I don't want Grisham there. I like what I saw out of Grisham in the 9 spot today. Maybe they do try Jazz. They haven't tried it yet. Has he though? I don't know. Are you going to say the getting thrown out in Boston in extras counts? Obviously, last night counts. Ozuna. So I have 2 screens in here, and they're throwing me off. I've got this S and Y screen, and then this one. You see this? They're on different timing. And one I can control, and that's the slow one. The other one I can't control, and that is controlled by like actual S and Y, the TV station, because Evan and Tiki show is broadcast out of here on S and Y. Got to hydrate up. Check my phone, make sure you're not blowing up my text. All right, big shot, and we'll take some Yankee calls, and then in the next hour, I'll introduce some other topics and things. 1 hour down, easy. Okay. The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright lights, big city. You know we got a bunch of big shots. But I just queued it up, man. I got to give, I think, the first big shot of the night of this season to Trent Grisham. T. Grish, batting ninth. He went 2 for 3 today, had 2 ribbies today, a double, and a homer. And I just played what he said. I just feel like, his demeanor, his personality, what he's gone through in his career. I think he's the type of guy you want on this Yankees team. I don't know if he's around longer than this year. Maybe they trade him at the deadline if they feel like they got to play Jason Dominguez every day. But how do you feel? 888-808-1019. Do you, after seeing Trent Grisham, and let's do this because I always tell you to please hit refresh on your information. I have to do it. Sometimes a couple of games and series go by and I'm still saying something that was a few days old. And I'm like, wait, let me go look at the numbers. Trent Grisham has regressed. Has he? I listened to Boone talk about how his at-bat quality is still there and how he ran into some bad luck. But if you hit refresh on this last week, his last 7 games, he's got 6 hits, 1 homer, 2 ribbies. His average is 240. He if you go back to 15 games, his average is 204. It gets a little worse, but his average had dropped. We knew Trent Grisham last year was a guy that people said he's a 190 hitter. We knew Trent Grisham wasn't going to, have that ridiculous OPS and have over 1,000 OPS. For Trent Grisham, a 4th outfielder, we knew he wasn't going to bat 270, 275. Like he's at 245 right now. I'm not worried about that dude. It's good to have that guy. And it's good that this point of his career, he's humble enough to say, yeah, sure, I'll come in and be the 4th outfielder. But when he got the opportunity, he seized the opportunity. And he's been super solid for the Yankees. Reminder, tonight, I'm only on to 10 p.m. This is not a 5-hour KM to AM. I will get out of the way because football is in the air. Fanatics Fest is coming, and they moved Fanatics Fest to June so that they could actually get some football players there because last year in August, all the football players were in camp. Tonight, on The Fan, the Giants mini camp show. John Schmelk, Paul Dottino, and I heard Sean say that Art Stapleton, everybody loves Art Stapleton. Art Stapleton's going to be on. I played a clip from Art Stapleton on my show a couple days ago with him asking a great question to Jameis Winston. Maybe they'll reference that tonight. They'll have some players on the show as well. This is WFAN, the home of the Giants. So stay tuned for that if you've got a little bit of a football itch tonight at 10. Now, this whole week I was saying, damn, we need football. Because the conversation was feeling like we were talking about the Jets and the Giants with the Mets losing and the Yankees losing and us not being able to get a win and not having any joy, not having any positive things to talk about. I'm like, this feels like the Jets and the Giants combos. And I also was saying, okay, we're getting too deep in the weeds. Like if we're going to be analyzing Anthony Volpe's first swing approach, looking at the numbers of how many sliders he's seen first pitch, his numbers of when he does or doesn't swing first pitch. I'm like, if we're going over I'm ready to go over some plays, first down, second down, third down. I'm ready to go over, some actual offense, defense stuff, but we'll get there. Let's continue with the Yankees. Let me see if I can get another call or two in before we get to the 8:00 break. My guy, Jonathan in Los Angeles, we defeated the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Yo, Bash, what up, Bash? I know. So your dad called and he asked if you guys should go to the Subway Series City Field. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. And if you've never been to City Field, you should go. Happy we won. It's a lot better. The food tastes better. The drinks taste better. The air is better when you win. Aaron Judge, Superman bobblehead night. I guarantee you those lines are going to be around the stadium by 4:00.
Bump. Let's go, bro. We can't think about the past. I know it was bumpy, it was ugly, but hey, man. Or else I don't want to be all grouchy and everything. Oh, it was a real peak. I know, bro, it was, but
You know, I mean, regarding hey, bro, you know what? Underrated player that we need to really appreciate that we got is Goldie, bro. Goldie's been hitting and hitting. He homered today. Hey, man, that guy's pretty underrated. Other than that, bro, I think that Aaron Judge homers tomorrow, man. So I'm sending right now, man. Bank on it. Hey, bro, and low-key, I'm kind of hating on you, man. You're gonna be on Fanatics. Hey, I'm gonna make sure I'm calling in, bro. I'm gonna be on your YouTube page, man. So see what's up, bro. But have a good weekend, my guy. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. 888-808-1009. We got a break. Yeah, shout out to Goldie. He's another slow heartbeat guy, a veteran that I'm happy is on this Yankees team. Keep McPherson on the Fan. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Yo, my bad. I have improved the audio quality of the calls, but it is a physical lift for me to remember. Like right now, I'm using my MacBook microphone. You're listening to me through the microphone built into this computer. When I switch so you can hear the calls, you are listening to a USB microphone that is rigged up over here. And I've got stuff to read. I already showed you I've got the 2 games on. I've got my own notes. And sometimes I forget to be like, oh, plug this back in, switch the input to that mic. So I apologize for that. Hector throwing money in the chat. Grish is a beast at center field. Yeah. Plus defender. You love to see it. You love to have it. Let me check the schedule. Fanatics Fest in the morning. I got to check the schedule. Fanatics Fest and see who is like Friday. Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young at 11 a.m. Stephen A. Smith, I don't care about them. Wade Boggs and Xavier Scruggs off base podcast 10:30. I would like to get there for that, but let's see. Everything starts at 10. Everything starts at 10. So that's a long day. Long day though. I gotta go home. I go home and go to sleep tonight. I'll say get me at, let's see, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Spike Lee at 12. I say get me at 9:45, 9:30. I say get me at 9:30. We can try and be in there by 10:30, by 10:30. Here we go. Fanatics Fest. That's facts, though. That's facts, though. What's up, Ak?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Show going?
Got the live stream going.
Hello, live stream.
The legendary Rich Ackerman. Let him know what time your live stream starts after you leave here tonight. I was just talking about how Fanatics Fest starts tomorrow early. So like Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, they're on the theater stage at 10:30 a.m. Wade Boggs 10:30 a.m. Derek Jeter at 12. Like it starts early. One of my boys like, what time you want me to pick you up? I'm like, pick me up at 9:30. Let's try to be in there by 10:30. Like I want to see all these guys.
Where is it? Javits Center?
Yeah. And I expected to be better this year because they had the first run of last year to tighten things up. And last year was great.
Yeah. This guy's built himself quite an empire.
Michael Rubin. Yeah, you know what's funny? I interviewed with him in 2018.
Yeah.
And I thought I was applying to be the social media manager for Fanatics. Come to find out, they had somebody doing that. He wanted his own social media manager to help build his personal brand and imprint because he was just like a rich guy behind the scenes. Now he's a celebrity.
Yes.
I actually got to sit in a focus group with him at Fanatics Fest last year and tell him, and him and his guy Mayor's right hand man, I blew their mind. They were like, no way. I'm like, yeah, fast forward now, I'm hosting here for WFAN.
Good evening at 8 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman. The Mets lead the Braves 1-0 in the third. Ronnie Mauricio put them on the board with an RBI single in the second, and Juan Soto singled in the first for his 1,000th career hit at the age of 26. The Mets looking to halt the 5-game slide and avoid being swept in Atlanta, currently in front in the bottom half of the third. The Yankees' 6-game skid is now a thing of the past. They took the series finale from the Angels 7-4 and did it flexing their muscle with back-to-back homers from Trent Grisham and Paul Goldschmidt II, putting them ahead for good. Cody Bellinger had 3 hits and drove in a run, and Jazz Chisholm had a pair of hits as well. Carlos Rodon went 6 innings for his 9th win. C.J. Mosley announced his retirement. The Jets cut the 5-time Pro Bowler in March after he played just 4 games last year due to injuries. The NBA Finals continue shortly as Pacers All-Star Tyrese Halliburton is active for Game 6 with Indiana down 3-2. There is no minutes restriction on Halliburton tonight. WNBA action, the Mercury lead the Liberty at the half, 41-38. That's what's happening. I'm Rich Ackerman. Whoops.
Dude, did you clip him? Everybody's done it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, how did I do that?
Chaz, Jism, Keith McPherson on the Fan. Shout out to Zoo. Shout out to the legendary Rich Ackerman. I said, yeah, everybody has done that. Everybody has done the Chaz Jism drop. I said, Zoo, did you clip that? I've heard it on the morning show. I've heard John Sterling do it. It's just one of those names that you can easily flip the first name, last name. It rolls right off your tongue. 888-808-1019. Having a good time tonight because the Yankees won. I was sitting in my house this week contemplating the meaning of life. I was sitting in my house wondering if I should do something better with my nights, with my life, with my career. What am I doing? Why am I yelling at the TV because Trent Grisham can't get a bunt down? Why am I yelling at the TV, in my living room while my wife and my son are sleeping and my cat is looking at me like, can you leave? Don't you have work? Don't you need to go? Can't you go yell at the radio station? It sucks. But that's baseball. And I really do think that the Yankees had to go through that. And this is just a little footnote. And they'll move forward. And let's start to move forward and look at this series ahead against the Baltimore Orioles, who fired their manager. The Baltimore Orioles, who are almighty. They won 101 games. They got swept 2 years ago. And they haven't recovered since. They're supposed to have all these top prospects, all these guys. And I don't know. They didn't have the pitching all year. They should have kept Corbin Burns. Maybe Corbin Burns keeps his elbow if they keep him. They should have kept Anthony Santander. Right now, they're not really doing us any good. They did help us a little bit, but they're facing the Tampa Bay Rays down at the Boss, George M. Steinbrenner Field. They lost the first game of that series Monday 7-1. They lost the third game of that series 12-8 after going up 8-0 in the second inning. And they're a mess. But what I'll say is they can score runs and they can get it going, and the Yankees can't take them lightly. And the Yankees have to, pick up where they left off today. The Yankees play a day game, so just simple math tells you that the Yankees should all be home, feet up, kicked up. Shout out to you guys if you're listening to KM to 10 p.m. I'm keeping it positive tonight. No hater energy, all positive energy. But yeah, you should go to sleep by 10 p.m. I know some of the Yankees will be in the building tomorrow at Fanatics Fest. Max Fried, I definitely know. Will Warren, I think Volpe is scheduled to be there. From what I know, that the Yankees are going to be there tomorrow during the day because they have the night game. Now, what I'm alluding to here is like, okay, your game was won and done by 5 o'clock. Get your rest, be ready to come to the ballpark and play tomorrow. The Orioles have to play tonight in Tampa, get on the plane, fly to New York, and be ready to go. I think that the Yankees can sweep the Baltimore Orioles, and I think that they should. I think that they need to. I think that the fans are going to be behind them. Obviously, I already talked about the Aaron Judge Superman bobblehead, which is like one of the best bobbleheads of the year, if not the best. I saw the lines out there for the Yogi Berra Navy bobblehead. This is going to be pandemonium. And I expect there to be long lines. I expect there to be a lot of fans out there. So it's a Friday night in the Boogie Down Bronx. Let's check the weather. Even if it rains a little bit, so what? We're expecting tomorrow to be a 90-degree day. 84 degrees, we'll probably get up to 90 degrees. It's going to be a hot one. The ball should be flying out, and guess who's on the mound? The guy from Hotlanta, right? Land of the freed, home of the former Brave. Max Fried on the mound. Max Fried, the ace, the stopper. Max Fried, the guy you trust the most out of this Yankees rotation. And honestly, through this little stretch here against the Anaheim Angels, Clark Schmidt pitched well. Will Warren pitched well. Yarby did enough. Rodon got the win today. I think his 9th win of the season. So I expect Max Fried to have a good outing against the Baltimore Orioles. And I expect the Yankees bats to wake up. And if you just heard Jonathan in Los Angeles in the last hour before we went to break talk about Judge, he's saying bet on Judge. It's his bobblehead night. And if you heard me say, hey, Judge got mulligan. He struck out. And the umpire thought it was a foul ball because it went off the catcher's glove and gave Judge another opportunity, and then he doubled. So let's hope that Judge is seeing it now. He shakes out of it. And going into this series against the Baltimore Orioles, they can sweep the Orioles. They need to get this lead back. They need to right the ship. And they need to do it now. They'll go on the road and face Cincinnati. They'll come back home and face the Athletics. But, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, July could be tough. They go to Toronto, got to go through customs and face the Blue Jays. Then the holiday weekend, they'll come back and face the Mets in the Subway Series. Everybody will be all geeked up for that, right? Then the Mariners come to town and the Cubs come to town. Right before the All-Star break, you can't take either one of those teams lightly. Then you have the All-Star break, which we'll see how many Yankees are down there. Probably a handful, probably 4, maybe 3, 4. I don't know. And then they play the Atlanta Braves. They go back to Toronto on the road, and then they come home and have to face Philly and Tampa. I think July, they have to right the ship now because it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy road in July, and that All-Star break is going to be much needed. But yes, Baltimore comes to town. We need to avenge that first series loss that we had in Camden Yards. It was stupid. They were losing. They fired their manager they weren't able to win. That was their freaking World Series. And so now you line up Max Fried, Clark Schmidt, Will Warren against the Orioles. We're going to be striking guys out and hitting home runs, and the Yankees should get back to doing more of what they did today and less of what they did over the last, 6 games before that. 888-808-1019. Mario from Long Beach on the Fan.
See that commercial?
No, I actually don't have SNY. Fubo TV is my provider, and they took SNY off, so I have not watched SNY in some time.
Oh, so you like? Yeah, let me tell you what.
Am I on it?
Yes, you're on it. They talk about all the hosts from the morning drives to the midday to the afternoon, and they show a picture of them. So there's a picture of you. There's a picture of Boomer and Gio. There's a picture of.
Is it a flattering picture of me, or is it not so flattering?
Well, I don't know what a good picture is of you because I never saw you before until now. You'll have to look and tell me.
Well, I got the face for radio, so I'm sure it's fine on TV. I don't care. I'm sure it's okay. I'll take the promo.
I was happy about that. I was happy about that. Now, it's very interesting because, I like when they have opinions, but sometimes base it on facts, I don't even want to go into who was saying it, but they were talking about like Austin Wells, and he's no good, and Volpe. Austin Wells right now is, if you do the math, he will, based on what he's doing so far, he'll have 36 homers and 100 RBIs. That's like the second best catcher in the league. Now, his average isn't that high, but still, and let's understand, the guy's 25 years old. This is his second year in the league. Volpe is 24. These guys, they kids. Give them a little time.
Yeah, and they're hitting in the bottom of the order, and they're not really a detriment to the team. We can't say that they're killing us. They have done a lot of good. I think they'll be fine. They're not bust. They're young guys, and they're developing at the major league level still.
So check out this, what I did, because, I'm a retired background. I'm a numbers guy. So I did the numbers, right? They make very little money. I didn't know how much they made, the Volpe and Wells, so I did the math. So what they make in any year, both of them added together, is what Juan Soto makes in 5 games. 5 games he makes, which is 800,000. They make 800,000 a year, which is 1.6 million. In 5 games, that's what Soto makes. 1.6.
Yeah, I'll take the return on investment that we're getting with those two guys instead.
That's it. Thanks for taking my call, buddy. Talk to you later.
Thanks for the call, Mario. 888-808-1019. I did see Juan Soto got a knock in his first at bat. Let's do a quick ride along with the Mets game. Top of the 4th inning here. And shout out to SNY. They have the camera on live in here, which is ahead of our cable channel. So I get to see this. I think this has got to be like a live feed in real time in here. No,
it's because of because Evan and Tiki, because it's the on-air feed, so it's so they can see themselves in real time.
Oh, okay. Well, either way,
it's a little behind the scenes. You know what I mean? I got that over here too.
Yeah, it's top 4. It's 1-1 on Jeff McNeil on this screen. On the other screen now, on cable, Jeff McNeil just stepped in the batter's box 1-0. So they're a little bit ahead. 1-2, 1-1. Anyway, just, peeling back the curtains for the audience. The Mets lead 1-0. And Juan Soto did have a single. But then in his next at bat, what did he do? Making, 200,000 a game or whatever it is. He flew out to right field. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens in this game. They need to fight in this game, not get swept in this game. Jeff McNeil is fighting to keep his on-base streak alive, right? I think he got to 20 games last night. He's fighting to keep his on-base streak alive. And we'll see what happens with Francisco Alvarez. He's fighting to stay with the club. I don't know if you guys saw the, the Post? Yeah, the New York Post, the back cover of the Post says, from, Mike Vaccaro, time for Mets to send down Alvarez to get him fixed. Francisco. I don't agree with that.
That's crazy. That's a crazy take. I mean,
you want to have Hayden Fanger up here?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I get it. He's been, questionable. But at the same time, Terrence, you were talking about it last night with the mask. I mean, Terrence is a backup catcher, and he's a good one at that. I'll give him his credit. The guy's a very good backup catcher. You can get away with having him play for a month at a time if you need him to. Mm-hmm. But he's a backup catcher. Francisco Alvarez, while he has his warts, while he has his issues, he's 23 years old. He has the bat that, yes, we haven't really seen it much of late, but that bat we know can hit 20-plus home runs. We know there's potential to hit 30-plus. We think that it could even get as high as 40 because the guy was a number 1 prospect at one time.
Him and Volpe, I was in L.A. when him and Volpe played in the Futures game in 2022 together.
Bro,
we got to stop quitting on these kids. We're grown men in our 30s, 40. How old is Mike Vaccaro? 70? We're quitting on these kids. Give them an opportunity. When I was his age, a lot of people didn't quit on me. We got to give these kids time. It's hard to do what they do.
And I'll say this too. If you do send a guy like Alvarez down and say it hurts him because he's a guy who I think is a prideful dude, he plays with a lot of emotion. If it hurts him and say he plays bad in the minors, now what? Now what's going to happen? If he goes down there and you crush his confidence and that's it, now you just completely ruined him. Now it's over. Now there's no value to trade him. Now there's no value.
Get nothing in return. Right.
Now what are you going to do? Now you got nothing.
No, I look at him as a guy with the right moxie. He has a tattoo on his neck that says the best. He knows he's like that. El Troll, right? I've seen him do it in big moments. I've seen him have walk-off home runs. I've seen him play well in the postseason. I didn't play bad, but like he's becoming still. He was hurt. We have no grace for the injury that he had. Okay, Luis Torrens is expected to be the starting catcher on this team. This is the number 1 team in the National League. This is the first place team in the NL East. Luis Torrens was given away for $100,000. Like, I think we got to slow down. It is still the first half of the season, and guys are going to go through things. Like we just saw the Yankees go through a lot of things this week and work out of it. Speaking of the devil, and the devil arrives. Francisco Alvarez steps up to the plate, batting .233 with 2 homers, 10 ribbies, a .631 OPS. Let's see what he does. Back to the phones as we wait.
Quickly, though, Keith,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
I
not.
really don't mean
You have
to.
another thing to add.
There was a massive thing that happened.
Oh,
in
I
this
thought
game.
he just homered.
That
That's a
was close.
foul ball.
That would have been nice. That would have been nice.
The timing would have been perfect.
Oh, it would have been beautiful. But there was one thing that I don't think we hit, but I think we need to give a little more credence to from this game specifically, and that is Juan Soto's hit tonight was his 1,000th hit of his career.
Oh, yeah, the milestone has been reached.
We're there, baby.
Is he the fastest, to 1,000 hits? He's 26. Is he?
I'm not sure if he's the youngest. I doubt he's the fastest because, I'm sure there's somebody that got it in like 5 years or less because he's been up for so long. But, he's probably close to being one of the younger guys to do it. But, yeah, 1,000, baby. There we go. 1,000 for Juan Soto. Congratulations to him. Some as a Yankee, some as a Met. We'll take it.
Yeah,
I got 1,000 as a Met.
I gotta look into it. He's the 67th Dominican player to reach that milestone, de lo mio personal. 1,000 knocks for Juan Soto. I'm trying to see. He's one of 3 players with 1,000 hits, 700 walks, 200 homers before turning 27. I'm just gonna take. This is coming from. This might be someone. This is a Division III bench warmer on Twitter. I don't know if this is credible. I don't know if this is valid.
Shout out Division III bench warmer.
He might just be putting that out there. You never know what to believe on Twitter anymore. 888-808-1019. Congratulations to Juan Soto reaching that milestone. I will do some digging to find out how significant that is at his age and in the time that he's played. And yeah, I did want to get back to this call. As I was talking about the Yankees going through some things and talking about how we can't quit on guys, Rodon stood up today, and I quit on Rodon a bunch of times. I've had no faith in Carlos Rodon a bunch of times. I think this year the obvious change is the beard. But again, Rodon showed up and did enough today when we needed him to. He's getting paid the big bucks, and you love to see it. Let's go to Jason and Edison on the Fan next. Go for it, Jason.
Hey, Keith. It's nice to be back in first. I'd like to start with Rodon, and he's doing very mid right now. He has about a 3.10 ERA, and right now he's probably our number 2, and he's a probably regular, he might be high or low, but it's more like a mid leverage right now.
Yeah, back like we never left first place. Hopefully the Orioles beat the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. And Rodon, in a year where Garrett Cole is down, in a year where they changed the beard policy, in a year where now Rodon has settled in as a Yankee, he's been around. His post-game press conferences are better. His ability to overcome little things that happen in the game that don't go his way is much better. I am pleased with Rodon. He got back to some of his old tricks today with not being able to keep the ball in the ballpark, but luckily the Yankees came through and they hit where it didn't matter.
Yeah, Keith. For now, I think he has a lot of new established confidence, and I believe that this is a game that both the Yankees and Rodon both needed. He's 9-5, and I really think that if you really can't rely on Fried 100% of the time, and with another pitcher that you can rely on, especially going into the All-Star break and a little bit farther into the season where it really matters most, I think he could truly grow into someone that we could use more.
Yeah, and I'll echo what you're saying. I won't co-sign it. And what I'll say is this. Coming up on a trade deadline, depending on what starting pitchers are available, I can't trust Max Fried is going to be the guy to carry us through a postseason and get back to the World Series on his own. I also can't trust Rodon in a big spot, as we just saw against the Red Sox. I think this, is good that Rodon bounced back here with a good outing, but I also hope that there's still a thought with Brian Cashman pitching to get another starter to add to Fried and Rodon, and then also add some back of the bullpen help as well.
Yeah, and one last thing. When can we expect to see Spencer Jones at least get called up to AAA? I know he's been spending a lot of time down in Somerset, but when can we start to see him make some sort of growth into maybe the Rail Riders?
I'll talk about it. Thanks for the call, Jason. I actually got to meet Spencer Jones. Shout out to the Somerset Patriots, by the way. They did actually go live today with an announcement that I will be hosting on August 2nd, live from their ballpark, the celebration of the Negro Leagues with James Coben and Dennis Biddle. My good friend Willie Randolph will be on the field with me. If you are interested, get tickets. Check out the Somerset Patriots. It's August 2nd. It's a Saturday night game. There'll be fireworks, and the team will dress up as the New York Black Yankees, and I'll be the MC for the night pregame and during the game. And they're great people out there. They were amazing to me when I went out there a couple weeks ago to throw the first pitch. And they had me on the field. I got to be in the dugout, and I got to meet Spencer Jones, 6'7", 240. Yeah, he's as tall as advertised, and he's back to hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Right now, looking at his numbers, he's batting .248. He's got a .943 OPS. He's got 13 home runs, and I think those home runs have been added, at least a few here in the last couple weeks. He's a mild-mannered guy. He's working on some things. I think he's a little bit of a ways away still. Now, people are starting to put the clock on him as far as he's 24. I think he played at Vanderbilt. He was a 4-year college guy. I don't know when we see him go to AAA. I don't have that answer. I think they're still looking for him to get more seasoning, and there's no rush. There's no rush. Now, as I'm talking about getting another starter or a back of the bullpen arm, I would assume that people will be talking to Brian Cashman and checking on Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones could get dealt at the trade deadline, but if he survives, then they got a plan for him, and maybe you see him later this season with the Rail Riders. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Tyrese Halliburton, the NBA Finals, and some news in the NBA coaching circles that directly tie into the New York Knicks. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Fan.
You're juggling work, life, and imploding bullpens. We get it. And we got you, New York sports.
Chat, you can hear me now. Now this comes in clutch because the finals are about to start. So I can turn this TV to the finals, and then that SNY TV up there can stay on the Met game. Cool. Sports. Do you like sports? Do you watch sports? Do you talk sports? Well, you're in the right place. Yo, Hector's still throwing money out here. Hector, that's $3, brother. That's $3. That's my train ride home right there, bro. Appreciate it. Yankees better be concerned with Tampa now. Only 2 games back. They're playing good baseball. Yeah, let's go O's. Let's go Orioles tonight. Let's go Orioles tonight. Does Matt Olson score here? He does. He does. How? Matt Olson walked. Ozuna singled. Ozzy Albies singled on a line drive and scored him. Did he not touch the base? Oh, he did. He did. I do be scaring her. Hell yeah, nice beat drop.
Oh! Big Zoo. Good drop, Zoo. Big Zoo coming through on the ones and the twos. Now I gotta put a note to download this beat. This beat was incredible when it dropped. It's such a, I don't know how to describe it.
Menacing.
Such a menacing beat. Bum, 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 bum. Get the, Simon Says, throw your hands in the sky. What, man? That was a tough beat.
Was it Lil Kim that did the remix?
Did she do a remix?
Or she might have just taken the beat and did a song to it?
A lot of guys freestyled over that one. That was definitely one that was on beat CDs. That was one that Flex had people rap over. That's like a sneaky, tough hip-hop instrumental that people don't always go to. They always go to the Wu-Tang beats. They always go to, some of Biggie's beats. They always go to some of Jay-Z's stuff. That's, because I can't name another Pharoah Monch song.
And that's one, bro, like, for real, when you hear Pharoah Monch, right, I feel like all the kids out there, they know that beat. They've heard it before.
But they don't know him.
Sporting events, they don't know who the hell Pharoah Monch is. They're getting educated by us right now.
I mean, hey, you are now in the mix with DJ Zoo-Wop on the Fan in New York, 1019 FM, with your host, Keith McPherson. All right, let's get back to doing the sports. There are hip-hop stations right down the street. I told you that story. I walked down the street one day. I saw Flex on the street. I said, yo, Flex, what up? Flex just gave me a side eye and just ignored me. I'm like, bro, I'm talking to you. I want to talk NBA, as I have the NBA Finals on my screen. And shout out to SNY right now. Oh, I'm in there. As I said before, there is a live feed in here. SNY and Zoo Explain, that's the live feed that Evan and Tiki see when they're on SNY. So I have that up there, and I can't control that TV at all. But the TV that I can control, Mike Breen is on my screen with Doris Burke. And speaking of Mike Breen, we have calmed down with some of the Knicks conversation on the Fan. Thank God. But I'm going to bring some of it back. Today, we saw breaking news that the Houston Rockets and head coach Ime Udoka have agreed to a long-term contract extension with the franchise that makes him one of the highest paid NBA coaches after his 52-win season and a top 2 seed for the first time in 7 years. Ime Udoka, who should probably still be in Boston, who the Brooklyn Nets tried to sign, he is just one of those former player, young candidates as a coach that everybody wanted because he's had success and he's worked his way up through the ranks. Well, now he's in Houston. And if you remember correctly, the Knicks did tap in with Houston and check on his availability. And I think Ime Udoka can thank the Knicks for helping getting him paid, because the conversations that pop up after the Knicks come knocking, right? The New York Knicks, the big money Knicks, their franchise is worth billions. The conversations that follow are like, hey, you just said that I can't talk to them. What are you going to do for me? Let's get a deal done. If you're saying I'm not allowed to talk to anybody, okay, understood. Yeah, we're here. You saw what I did this year with this team. Let's get a deal done. There's also the same type of thing percolating for Billy Donovan. I don't know if the deal is done yet, but there was a report in my notes for a couple days ago that the Bulls are working on a contract extension with head coach Billy Donovan. Donovan's been there since 2020, and he hasn't had the best go at it, but he hasn't had the best players and whatever. It's the Bulls. But I think after the Knicks checked on him, the Bulls are like, wait. Look, we got to lock up our coach too. Now that makes you think about Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd, is he going to be the next guy up for a contract extension here? Or is there truth to what we were hearing last year or last week about mutual interest between the Knicks and Jason Kidd? And, Dallas saying no, but maybe there's some tampering involved, and maybe Dallas doesn't want to pay him. And obviously there's trouble in paradise over there. But just a day or two ago, there were reports that, the Knicks hiring Jason Kidd could still be a possibility. The door's not closed on it. And now we wait and see, right? Those other coaches, right? There's some other coaches out there that they checked on, but the dream could still be alive for Jason Kidd. And then that segues me into tonight, where, this could be the last night of the NBA. Stanley Cup ended, or the NHL ended with the Panthers winning back-to-back Stanley Cups a couple nights ago. This could be the last night of hoops of the NBA. And you know what that means, right? Like, the Knicks weren't going to, and the Knicks did steal some thunder, pun intended, from OKC and Indiana. They did with their coaching search. They're opening up finals coverage. They're on Pat McAfee at Indiana. They're talking about the Knicks. But I'm sure Adam Silver and the league did not want the Knicks to hire a coach during the NBA finals and drop that bomb on, the sports world. But now tonight, if the Thunder do complete this, OKC in 6 and this series, then that does open, the window here for maybe a day, 2 days, week. I don't know. I would assume that they're going to get through the draft. The draft is coming up next week. I would assume that they're going to get through the draft and then name a coach, pick a coach, interview some more coaches. We'll wait and see. Let's get back to the phones while we wait and see. Josh is in the Bronx on the Fan. Hello, Josh.
Hey, Keith. I was just wondering how surprised you are that Indiana has carried those OKC thus far and their coach Rick Carlisle. And I'll hang up and listen, but I just want to say it's awesome, baby. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, Josh. I mean, I think most pundits and people that looked at the series said this game is going to go, or this series is going to go 5 games, maybe 6. I was in here that Thursday night that Indiana was able to steal that game 1. I didn't have that penciled at all. I was because I was at Yankee Stadium. Shout out to my guy Chris who runs Hard Rock. I'll probably check in there tomorrow. I was specifically in Hard Rock because I was watching the start of the finals and watching the Yankee game, and I had to leave and host a show that night. So I wanted to be able to speak on both games and not do the watch on my phone. And OKC controlled most of that game, and then the Pacers stole it from them late. And I remember that night talking about, hey, this is what they do, team of destiny. And then they were able to get another game in their building, but I don't think they're going to get another game now. Tyrese Halliburton, let's see what he looks like. We're about to see in the next few minutes when this game starts.
Let's see what he looks like out there on the floor. But the performance of SGA and Williams and Holmgren and their whole squad, they've got a strong team. OKC, they've got a good coach. OKC, and I think they obviously lost that first game, and then they even took a loss in the second. And it's good for the NBA, but they always were better than the Pacers. And I'll be shocked if the Pacers are able to force a game 7 tonight. Maybe they will. That's why I said it depends on Halliburton's injury. He's going to play, but he's compromised. He was compromised last game. He's got the calf injury. He's going to play. But I feel like these young guys, and shout out to Isaiah Hartenstein, former Knick, entering the floor right now. I feel like they smell blood in the water. They know that it's closing time. This is it. We can beat these guys on their floor tonight in Gainesbridge Fieldhouse and go back home as champs and get ready for the parade. And if that's the case, they could be having the parade. When would the parade be? Could they quickly have, if it's Thursday, could they have the parade Saturday or Sunday? They'd probably be Monday. They wait till Monday and let people have, it's Oklahoma. Like,
yeah, they'd have to be a holiday,
Yeah, it would surely be a holiday. They have nothing else out there. They would take off work on Monday and it would just be a parade.
You know what's one thing I want to say to give credit to the OKC fans that I think they do very well, and I think is part of the reason why they have the distinction of being a very great fan base, very loud fan base, very good fan base. They stripe the stadium for all of these games, and I don't think that's something that I've seen, or at least seen very often at NFL or NBA or MLB games, because most of these fans can't work and I don't want to take shots at the fans or anything, but I feel like it's like fans of professional teams aren't used to that type of stuff. When you're in a college atmosphere, stripe the stadium, all that kind of stuff. That's like
when you say stripe the stadium, you mean like how they all wear the same?
Yeah, so the white, the blue, the white.
They all wear the colors, and it looks like. I mean, that's how it looks in Indiana right now. You'll never get that in Madison Square Garden.
No, we're not like that. We're not built like that. I don't know.
You gotta have your fresh. You gotta have your fresh kid fit on, and you gotta have your Gucci and your Louis V, and people gotta see their Knicks jerseys and their fits. And
yeah, I can't put on my $15 T-shirt that you gave me, or my $35 T-shirt that gave us for free tonight. You know what I mean?
No, because going to Madison Square Garden is a flex off in itself. That's all it is. It's who has more money than the next, who looks better than the next. Like Fat Joe comes in there. Fat Joe will have a scarf, a hoodie, some exclusive shoes, some pants that you've never seen.
Got the
Rollie. it's all about outfit of the day, style. But yeah, I'm like, what is that up there? That's their mascot.
That was the mascot hanging from the ceiling. That's insane. I don't know about all that.
This is what they got to do in Indiana. You'll never see the Knicks don't have a mascot, but you'll never see some of the stuff that they do out there go on in MSG because it's New York.
It's Game 6 of the NBA Finals. We're putting the mascot up on the ceiling and we're dropping him down. That's how we do things in Indiana basketball.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
If I'm the mascot, I don't know how much money you would have to pay me to do that.
I was just about to say, is this guy acrobatic like that, or is this a special person in that suit? Because like some people have a fear of heights. That's something they have to practice.
Imagine you just get that job at the beginning of the year, and then you get to this point, and they're like, "All right, bro, it's Game 6 of the Finals.
Yeah, we're putting you 50 feet in the air." You're like, okay, is this safe? Anyway, here we go. Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Two small market teams, a terrible rated finals. Here's Tyrese Halliburton. Don't be mad because somebody smudged your Puma. He wears the Converse and SGA wears the Pumas, right? Oh no, it's the other way around. I was correct. Tyrese Halliburton has Pumas. He has a Puma deal. And his whole thing was like overrate that, right? To launch his Puma, I believe. And SGA has Converse. The days of Nike dominating the NBA are long gone. Did you see Brunson though? Brunson has those Lady Liberty Kobe's. I actually want a pair.
They're pretty fire.
Jalen Brunson's Nike Kobe 6 Statue of Liberty. Those kicks, those seafoam green Kobe's he wears, they're gonna come out
around Christmas, and they're going to be hard to get, and they're going to get claimed quickly.
I'm not going to lie, bro. I love what the Liberty got going on in general with their color scheme, and I think that's what he's going for with those shoes, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Yankees leaned into it last year. They had little accents. Judge wore it. Stanton wore it. And even now, Belly has a little bit of like I call it seafoam green on this tweet that I'm reading. With Brunson, they call it hyper turquoise, but it's Lady Liberty. And yeah, the New York Liberty they have a great color scheme, a great mascot, a great team. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. But this is what happens. We have time to talk sports. If you like sports, dial 888-808-1019. We're getting ready for the NBA Finals to start. But there's my little spiel to add some Knicks conversation in about the head coaches, about the finals ending, and how, pretty soon after the draft, we should find out what the Knicks are going to do with their head coach. But they don't have a rush. They're on their own time. They don't need to have a head coach this week, this month. They can wait a little while. So let's take a break. When we come back, the finals will be underway. It's still 1-1. Oh, actually, I didn't give you that update. Matt Olson scored. Matt Olson walked, and he was driven in by Ozzy Albies. No, he was driven in by let me go back to the box score. Ozzy Albies single, just some small ball on Tyrone Taylor. He was driven in by Michael Harris. And so that ties the game 1-1 in the fourth. Yeah, Matt Olson walks. Marcelo Ozuna singled. Drake Baldwin popped out. Ozzy Albies singles on a live drive to center field. Tyrone Taylor. Matt Olson scores. So 1-1 down in Atlanta as the Mets are fighting to not be swept. And we are underway in Indiana, Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Keith McPherson on the Fan till 10 p.m. The Giants football show will come on. The minicamp show will come on after me. Let's take another break. More of your calls coming up right after this.
It's Evan and Kiki. Afternoons on the Fan 101.9 FM.
All right, chat. Rolling. We're halfway through this show. We're on the second half of this show. I'm only on till 10. What are you guys talking about? Keep drop some more freestyles and beats. I need to. I don't have anything right now, though. I need inspiration. Maybe one night what we'll do, you guys will give me words in the chat to say in a rap, and I'll just use the chat because that'll be an easy way for inspiration. So it's like they play a beat and you throw out a word or a name, a player, a team or something, and I'll try to flow that way. Hey, can I join your panel and explain why Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time. My panel at Fanatics Fest? No. Mark Jackson? This is a Kyrie jersey. Here come the Braves. Clay Holmes at 65 pitches or 85? Clay Holmes at 85 pitches. He's got a high pitch count right now. Shot. Let me see. I'm about to cook somebody online as soon as I get an opportunity. Just shut up. I'm about to go right at this stupid guy. All right, we're back.
The remix with Joel Santana. I know you know, Zoo. I know Zoo knows.
That's proper music right there.
Oh, man. Just hanging out, having fun. About to take some more calls, talk sports. WFAN, the Fan in New York. Your nighttime host, Keith McPherson. Watching the finals now. That's underway. Watching Clay Holmes struggle a bit here. He's got a high pitch count, 89 pitches right now in the bottom of the fifth. 1 out. Runners at the corners. A little bit of trouble here, Clay. Let's see if Clay can work out of this 3-1 count facing Matt Olson. Got it live. All 4. Bases juiced. Not great. Not great. We'll come back to that. Let's see who's on the phone. My guy, Mitchell in Fort Lee.
What's going on, Keith? How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, hosting the show, watching the Mets, watching the finals.
I think the finals, tonight, OC is going to say goodnight, Irene, call it a night, and make this a blowout. I just have this gut feeling out of this game, but it's still early. It's only 8-2 so far, so we'll see what happens. But, Keith, the reason why I called in tonight was a very interesting reason, because I've listened to the Fan for the last 4 days, and everyone complained about, especially our team, the New York Yankees, and then some other hosts have called, we won't mention names because I don't want to, complain about their team, the New York Mets. But they have to understand, it's a long season. You're not going to win every game and everything else. No one talked about Tampa Bay, Keith, when they were not doing well. Now they won the last 24 out of 27 games. It goes in a cycle. The Yankees are going to be fine. Also, tomorrow we're getting back our main man, Mr. Weaver. That'll give us our closer back. It changed the whole bullpen. Into the bullpen. And then also now we have LeMahieu that no one except you is the only one that agreed with me about LeMahieu. It'll be a part that the Yankees need, and he's doing it. He's not batting bad. He's batting 286, 3 home runs, has some RBIs. But I really do have a problem with Boone with a few reasons. Number one is, would you agree here? Why does he let LeMahieu play third base? LeMahieu is a better player there, and put Chisholm back at second base.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. DJ, if you watch DJ, is that a foul ball? That's a foul. I thought Ozuna just hit a grand slam. DJ is not moving so quickly, even at second base. I don't know if he has the athleticism to play third. I know Jazz does. I also don't know if he has the arm strength to play third and get that ball across the diamond. Jazz definitely can. What I said about DJ is we need to hold our horses a little bit before we write this guy off. He's healthy. He didn't, people wrote him off. He didn't write back. He is not terrible. So they're gonna get the most that they can get out of him. That he's making $15 million this year. but I still do think that they will look to upgrade either second base or third base at the deadline, depending on what's available.
That's fine. There. Again, another part is now we're putting Ben Rice to catcher. What are we doing here?
Yeah, to get his bat in the lineup with Stanton's bat at DH. The kid was DHing, and you also don't want to take Goldie out, a 300 hitter who homered today. So like you can have a lineup with Ben Rice catching, who is a better bat than Wells, definitely Escara, and still have Stanton and Goldie in the lineup. I'm not against it. He was fine. They tried to run on him. He threw a guy out. Another guy got a bag off of him, but like he was fine his first one. He said he was sore a little bit, but I look forward to seeing Ben Rice do that some more in this regular season.
But Keith, I'm going to disagree with you. I like Wells. Wells has a better gun. He's a good catcher. And the other part is with Boone. This is the problem I have with Boone. When Wells was hot, when he had that nice big hit streak and everything with the home runs and everything else, he sits him then. Wells has to play. He has to play every game and give him the 1 game a week off, not play him 2 games, sit him for 3 games. And honestly, Stanton's not going to play every game. Like I heard earlier, that's just Stanton's philosophy is now he's going to get ready for the playoffs early because who knows if he'll get injured again. He probably will. That because he's going to do it the playoff way. Play 2 games, be off a game, and do it that way. If he's going to do it that way, then let Ben Rice be the DH or give Wells 1 night off once in a while so he doesn't have to catch. Let him be the DH and let Rice catch, vice versa. But you have to let Wells play every game. This kid is young. You just can't take a young kid out and say, well, I'm going to play you 2 games and then sit you for 2 games. If the kid needs to bat. This is a young kid that, quote unquote, we all said that he's a top prospect, good catcher, and he has a good bat. Well, let the kid play. That's how I feel about that. Do you agree?
Not entirely. Mitch, text me. I'll see you tomorrow at the Hard Rock. I'll come say hello in section 104. I'll come see you at the game. Wells has been brutal at times. Wells has had some bad. Wells today ran into an out. I don't feel like he needs to play every day, and catchers don't play every day. It's him and Escara. The one issue I have is we have 3 left-handed catchers. Who puts together that type of team? 3 left-handed catchers. Just the way it shook out. Maybe they trade Escara. I joked last night. David Stearns, can I interest you in a JC Escara, left-handed hitting catcher? Wells can't play every day. I have no problem with Ben Rice finding a position. Folks wanted to throw him at third. Jazz is going to play third until they trade for Eugenio Suarez. And then DJ can be a bench bat or just be a veteran in the clubhouse or whatever. But they're getting enough out of DJ. And you know what? The other night when they sat DJ in favor of Peraza, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't need Peraza to play over DJ. I'll take DJ's at bats over Peraza's at bat. Peraza can't hit. Peraza Palooza never started. Peraza, this week we heard they want to try and put him in the outfield. For what? I don't know. To make him a Pablo Reyes, to make him an IKF? No. His whole thing was he can pick it. Peraza can pick it. He's got a glove. He's got an arm. He's not going to be the starting shortstop. He's the backup shortstop. He's the backup third baseman. He's the backup second baseman. That's what he is. You've got enough outfielders. So much so that you have an issue where you got to figure out how to play Dominguez. And I don't know. I think they're going to sort these things out. I think these are good problems to have. They're problems, but they're not problems that are going to stop them from winning or that were the cause of, this losing streak. And yes, getting Luke Weaver back changes everything. Changes the decisions and the lanes and the bullpen and who you can use where and how long you got to stretch a guy. And maybe you can take Fernando Cruz out after he walks the first 2 batters instead of letting him face a third guy and walk him. Luke Weaver gives us some options because Luke is a guy that you can put in the 8th inning. And you have Devin Williams. And Devin Williams was good today. Outside of the hit by pitch, let me go back to my notes. I was sitting there watching Devin Williams today, and I'm like, okay, Devin Williams strikes out Travis Darnah, 4 pitches. He struck out Joe Adell, who has been one of the hottest hitters in baseball recently, on 4 pitches. He hit Lamont Wade Jr. That's fine. It is what it is. It's going to happen. Struck out Luis Rengifo on 4 pitches. I'm like, yo, it's warm, it's June. We're getting the airbender that is filling up the zone. He's throwing the ball in the zone. 4-seam fastball at 94, 95, and then the airbender. we're like, hey, knock on wood, we have a Devin Williams that has gone through some things. We have a Devin Williams now that we thought it was going to be potentially 6 weeks that we'd have to survive with him being the closer. It wasn't that long at all. And it wasn't that bad at all because they didn't give him that many opportunities to blow or close the games. They didn't give him too many opportunities to get the save or to give up runs. And now you get Luke Weaver back, and now you're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline. The Yankees are all right, man. But, even going back further to what Mitchell was talking about with hosts, again, I don't listen to the station all day, every day. I'm in and out listening to shows, and sometimes I'll go back, and with the free Odyssey app, you can go to a show, read what they spoke about in that segment, play that segment, and, if that's what you want to hear. What I'll say is we have to be reactionary. One, we're fans. Two, we're hosts. I don't know who wants to listen to a radio show all week where you're like that dog that's sitting in the fire meme. This is fine. This is fine. We can't do our shows for a week of losing and just say this is fine. We can remind you after we pick the teams apart and say all these different things about what goes on that this is fine. This is baseball. This is going to happen. This too shall pass. But in every other sport, they can be reactionary because they don't play every day. If the Knicks lose back-to-back games, it's, what's going on with this? They got to fire Tibbs, which they did. I mean, the Jets and Giants, the Giants lost 10 games in a row. They lost every game for months. So you have to react to that. Stay tuned in an hour. The Giants minicamp show coming up. I don't think they're going to go through a stretch this year with 10 losses. I'm hearing Abdul Carter is as advertised. Did they just take Clay Holmes out? Okay, we got to do the Mets ride along. Let me hit refresh on this because last I looked up and last I told you there were runners on the corners. Clay Holmes had walked Matt Olson. His pitch count was getting up there. Clay Holmes finishes with 103 pitches, 61 of them for strikes. After he walked Matt Olson, umpire helped him out with Marcell Ozuna. He gave him a ball. It was borderline. Called strike. Barely clips the bottom of the zone. And so now, this is a mound visit? And then why do they do this thing in Atlanta where they turn the lights off? Okay, here is Huascar Brazoban. So Clay Holmes is done. Bases are loaded. 2 outs. Braves take the lead 2-1. Clay Holmes exits. His day is done after going throwing 103 pitches and going 4 2/3, giving up 4 hits, 2 runs, striking out 5, walking 6. Here comes Brazoban to try to save the day. We got a break, and Marco's going to hit you with the update. I've got 1 hour left. Everything is on the table from the Yankees to the Mets to the NBA Finals, and, of course, your New York Knicks. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll be right back.
The O's, 7:05 tomorrow night. My goodness.
That's what I said. I said you said that they have that on every
Baseball is the Fan.
But I'm like, this is sick now. I got the finals on one TV. I got
most of your summer. The Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. Get great deals on capable specially tagged Kias like the Sportage, Sorrento, and Seltos. Or the versatile Nero Hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or EV. All of our vehicles are backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So visit your local Kia dealer today. Kia, movement that inspires. Call 800-334-KIA for details. Always drive safely. Real month. Specially tagged 2025 vehicles only. Event ends 7/7/25. See dealer for warranty details.
Hey, this is Tiki Barber. Now at Verizon, they're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on my plan. And you can get a single line for just $45 a month when you switch and bring your phone. That's their best price ever on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Guaranteed for 3 years because at Verizon, they've got you. Visit your local Verizon store today. $20 monthly promo credit applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. Times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. TNCs apply.
Town Fair Tire became New England's #1 discount tire dealer by giving you the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. And with over 100 stores from Connecticut to Maine, we'll beat anybody's price. Other dealers, we beat them. Warehouse clubs, we beat them. Online sites, we beat them all every day. So remember, for the absolute guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires,
Amber, there was a time, of course, I know Harry Mack. He's like killing it now. There was a time I listened to King Los a lot. From Baltimore, right?
Good evening at 9 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. Well, the Mets have lost 5 straight in danger of being swept away in Atlanta, and finally the inning is over in the 5th. The Braves have taken a 3-1 advantage on the Mets. Back-to-back walks, able to knock in the last 2 runs. Clay Holmes walked 6 in all, gave up 3 runs on 4 hits and 4 2/3, 104 pitches. Huáscar Brazoban came in, immediately walked Ozzie Albies on 4 pitches, but able to wiggle out of more trouble. Albies is knocked in a pair. Ronnie Mauricio with an RBI single for the Mets. That was in the 2nd, but Spencer Strider's given up just the 1 run, 5 hits. He has struck out 7, in control since an early shaky start. Braves with a 3-1 lead on the Mets. We head to the 6th in Atlanta. For the Yankees, finally able to bust out. Trent Grisham, Paul Goldschmidt went back-to-back. They erased the Angels 7-3, snapping that 6-game skid. Carlos Rodon picked up his 9th win, fired 6 innings of 3-run ball with 7 Ks. NBA Finals were in the first quarter. Pacers trying to stave off elimination. Tyrese Halliburton is playing despite that injured calf. He's got 4 points, and the Pacers a 7-point advantage, 24-17. Still about 4 minutes left in the first quarter. 8 points for Andrew Nembhard. On the other side, it's Jalen Williams coming off his 40-point performance. He's got 7 for OKC. Pacers trying to force a Game 7. Thunder looking for the closeout. Indiana with a 24-17 lead. 3:54 left first quarter. 73 degrees, still raining in Central Park, and that's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Okay. Last hour on the Fan and in the Fan for me tonight, like at the station. I will be on this weekend live from Fanatics Fest. I'll be at Fanatics Fest tomorrow at 10:30. If you give me a minute, I'll get back to the Yankee calls. 888-1019.
But Fanatics Fest tomorrow morning starts 10 a.m. ESPN will be there. Stephen A. Smith, quick turnaround. He's in Indiana right now. Got to fly back, be ready to go from Fanatics Fest, 10 a.m. for First Take with Molly, with Chris Webber and Tracy McGrady, T-Mac. In the T-Mac era, I got the nickname K-Mac because, T-Mac, K-Mac, that was an easy nickname back then. Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, and C.J. Stroud will be on stage at 10:30. Wade Boggs and Xavier Scruggs will be together for the Off Base podcast. I might try to lay eyes on that. Shout out to Xavier Scruggs, who I used to be on Off Base with when it was a TV show on MLB Network. Now it's just a podcast. Shout out to Wade Boggs, Wade Boggs is a great storyteller. You guys know Wade Boggs. And then Alex Rodriguez, Spike Lee, and Derek Jeter. Only in New York, 27 rings. That's at 12. And then Will Warren and more will be with the John Boy guys for the John Boy State of New York Baseball. Like, there's a lot going on. I cannot wait. Tomorrow, I'm not on air. Tomorrow, I am just fanboy. I will be at Fanatics Fest, watching all these panels, watching all these podcasts, supporting WFAN. Evan and Tiki will be live there. But then Saturday and Sunday, I will go live from Fanatics Fest at 4 p.m. I do have some guests lined up. I won't drop their names right now just in case anything comes up and they can't make it. 3 guys that I admire right now, working on a 4th. 3 guys that I think you guys will enjoy hearing from. Two guys I've had on before. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. One guy I've never had on before, but I've run into him at Yankee Stadium. I think he's going to be great. So looking forward to a celebration in New York at the Javits Center for fans of all sports and entertainment, and celebrating New York sports, and the fan being in the middle of it, and us broadcasting live from there. I am the exact type of person that you drop into a festival like this. Like, I love all sports and entertainment and social media and podcasts and TV and radio, and I'm blessed that back-to-back years I get to host from there, and this year I get to host 2 shows. So looking forward to it very much.
We got, everybody here's got the credentials and everything. It's not necessarily a fan ticket type of deal that we all got. So I don't know if anybody will be eligible to do this. But they do have the Fanatics games here, and I'm looking at some of these prizes, bro. And the first prize is $1 million.
So they have really stepped up and because they had the test run last year, they have really stepped up what you can win this year, and like all the things that you can do, and like the activations you can compete in there. Shout out to my dude, Lace Him Up. I met this kid last year just walking in. He's a Commanders fan, and I think he's from Maryland. Donovan Lindsay Jr. I hope this gets back to him. Diehard Commanders fan, and he was building his YouTube channel, and he just pulled me aside to interview me real quick. I've been following him. He is involved in this like dads versus Drewski competition this year, where they've had people submit, and they've had people kind of sign up for what is called the Fanatics games. So yeah, first place is $1 million cash. Second place is a 2025 Ferrari 296 GTB. Third place is a LeBron James 2003 Q4 Topps Chrome Gold refractor card. I don't know much about the cards, but it says it's worth $250,000.
Say less.
And so it's going to be athletes and fans competing. I can't wait to see it. I'm not trying to compete in anything, but hey, if they want me to throw a football, they want me to shoot a basketball, they want me to run, do something, I'm going to be ready for that.
And for
sure.
$1 million?
Yeah, but I don't think that randoms can. I think that's what I'm saying. This kid, I'm on his page right now. I think he applied because they did put out a little bit of a thing like, hey, if you'd like to compete, if you'd like to this year be involved, send in your like audition tape or something like that. So I don't know. It's going to be cool.
We got to get you in there next year.
I mean, I was in there last year. I'm in there this year. I don't need to compete because
no, we got to get you competing.
I will. So this is what I did last year. They have like the NFL area. I went over there. I threw the football a little bit. I didn't run the 40 because I didn't want to pull a hammy. I did shoot a couple shots. I did play in like this little basketball thing. Like Kevin Durant was over there. Little Baby was over there. I'm down to compete. But I'm going there to host Saturday and Sunday. I'm going there as a fan tomorrow. Let's get back to the calls though. 888-808-1019. The Mets have kind of unraveled here in the 6th inning. After I told you that Clay Holmes had the 103 pitches and came out of the game, and Brazoban inherited his runners. Let's see what happened here. Baldwin walked and Acuna scored. And then after that, Brazoban comes in. Ozzie Albies walks. Too many walks. The walks have killed the Mets tonight. Austin Riley scores. You can't give them. You're fighting against being swept, and your offense is struggling. You can't give them bases. You can't give them opportunities. And so here we are now. And in the top of the 6th, the Mets go down 1-2-3. Pete Alonso, Starling Marte, Jeff McNeil, and they're giving Spencer Strider hugs. He's done after going 6 innings, 5 hits, one earned run, strikes out 8, and Brazoban is back out for his next inning of work. So
now, Keith, I'm sorry, I got to jump in because we just had a caller jump in here, and I want to make sure we give all the audience information that they need to know. Unfortunately, I believe the deadline was Tuesday for the sign-up. If you're a fan out there that heard us talking about the Ferrari and $1 million, unfortunately, the deadline.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you can just buy a ticket, go in there, and go. I think this is coordinated. They I mean, usually if they're giving away stuff like this, they've got your name, they've got your address, they know exactly who you are so that they can get you that stuff.
Got your social number for sure.
Probably have your social, like they know who you are, maybe your ID. But anyway, it's gonna be a fun activation event festival type of thing to go watch and interact. And what I was selling people on was, if you're a content creator or you're aspiring to be a radio host or have a podcast or have followers and be in the sports space, paying for that ticket and going in there with your phone to just interview people, to make TikToks and reels, like that's the value right there. It's just everybody in one space. It's amazing. I had so much fun last year. I know I'm about to have fun these next 3 days. 888-808-1019. It is 28-25 Indy at the end of the first quarter in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. So a 3-point advantage for the Pacers. Let's see what happens there. It is 3-1 Braves in the bottom of the 6th. Runner on first. Ronald Acuna Jr. at the plate. Let's go to Zach in Clarkstown on the Fan. What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up? I'm very into Cody Bellinger, doing very good right now. And what's it called again? Cody's been on fire since the Mets series, and he's batting .250, a lot of home runs. What are your thoughts on him?
Cody Bellinger, I don't worry so much about his numbers, because Cody Bellinger is a veteran. He's a former MVP. He's a winner. He's clutch. He plays 3 different positions well. And he's another guy I think is really good for this Yankees team. And it's good to have him in pinstripes. It's good to have him batting behind Judge. It's good to have him on the team. He is valuable to us. And I just know that he'll come up clutch again. He's already had some really good moments, big moments, defensively and offensively. And a day like today, a 3-hit day like today, you know, when they said that they called that players-only meeting a couple days ago, Cody Bellinger was one of the names that was, you know, suggested as one of the guys leading it. And then Boone said that they didn't really do that. I think very quickly Cody Bellinger showed up here, had a good spring, and became a leader in the Yankees clubhouse. And he's very valuable to the team this year.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the call, Zach. 888-808-1019. You know the lineage, Clay Bellinger's kid. And you know what I loved about when Cody came over here, obviously he talked about the importance of being a Yankee and playing for the Yankees, but he also said to Aaron Boone, play me anywhere and bat me anywhere. Play me anywhere in the field, right field, center field, left field, first base, and put me anywhere in the lineup. And I'm just going to be Pelotero. I'm going to go be a ball player. And I think he's a solid addition to this team. And I don't really worry so much about his batting average. I don't really worry so much about his OPS. Cody Bellinger is going to have some more big moments for the Yankees. And I really think when we get to October, he's like that. You've seen him be like that for the Dodgers. So I think when we get to October, he's one of those guys that we're going to be able to count on. And the moment isn't going to get too big for him. Let's go to Brooklyn. John, you're on the Fan. What's up, John?
Yo, what's up, Keith? Thanks for taking the call. I talked to you the other week. I got to say something about the Mets real quick. I don't want to talk about the Yankees, but I just got to say something about the Mets first. I talked to you like last week. You said there were 4 players under 3 ERA with the Mets, and I told you there were 3. And then you came back with Griffin Canning, but he didn't have the innings to qualify. And now they only got 2 because even Senga now.
Yeah, but John, I remember how that went, and I didn't come up with the stat. That was a stat that came from SNY.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah, and I mean, I just, I think I miss.
And I know you're a Yankees fan too, so you don't even care.
I really don't care. But I think where I was wrong, where I misstepped, was I assumed that Paul Blackburn was in there, and he didn't have the innings to qualify.
That was one. Blackburn was the one that you said didn't have the innings, but and that one's way off.
The 4, yeah, but the 4 at the time that were under a 3 ERA were Clay Holmes,
Senga, Holmes, Canning, Peterson.
Yes. But it doesn't matter now. Clay Holmes is turning back into a pumpkin now. Tyler McGill is hurt now. Senga is hurt now.
I'm proud of Clay Holmes, but we all know that Clay Holmes doesn't have that finishing pitch, and that's why he walks guys. He does so many 0-2s to 3-2 to walk, and I hope he can find it because, I root for him. He's a hell of a pitcher. He's got some really good stuff, pitches a lot of ground balls. But I want to talk about the Yankees real quick, trade deadline stuff. Before you said to this guy that loves Wells that Rice, the catcher, because he had to be in the lineup. I mean, like, Rice is hitting 188 the last 30 games. Wells not much better, but 226. Rice 276. Based on base percentage last 30. Wells 326.
But not to cut you off, they were going scoreless. They were losing. They had a different lineup every game, and they were willing to try that because they're like, let's get this guy in the lineup and let's see him break out of it. Ben Rice started off the season tremendously.
Probably gets traded, and then you can maybe if Rice can work out as a catcher, he can be a great backup catcher because I like his pop, but I don't like him every day in the lineup. I just don't because we saw last year Ben Rice was great at first, and then the pitchers figured him out. This year, great at first, pitchers figured him out. But we've seen Wells. Wells is a real prospect. This man can hit, and he can figure it out. We've seen him get hot in the middle of seasons, not in the beginning and then never again. So, Wells has to stay in that lineup. And then when it comes to trade deadline, we cannot be going for Suarez. He's a strikeout king, and that is the killer of the Yankees. We don't need more power. I'm saying we need to go after a guy like Ryan McMahon, who's getting really hot right now, and he's on a team that needs to rebuild. We need to go out. I know you are not a fan of second tours, but Miguel Andujar is hitting 300, and he's a contact guy. We don't need more power. We need guys that don't strike out.
What position do you want Miguel Andujar to come and play for the Yankees?
I think that Miguel Andujar he'll be a average to below average third baseman, but he can move Jazz back. Yeah, what I love about Jazz.
Could you imagine Miguel Andujar coming here and having any type of mistakes at third? They're not going to. Cashman's not going to double back. He's not going to spin the block. Yeah, McMahon maybe. We talked about him last year, but they're not going to get Miggy Andu. That ship sailed a long time ago.
I just can't handle Suarez. I can't handle the 214 strikeouts 2 years ago, the 174 last year.
The pop,
the
homers. Yeah, no, I hear you. His name is just out there.
We got homers. We got homers galore. We lead the league in homers. We don't need to be leading the league in strikeouts, though. That's what we don't need to be doing. I'm not in the pitching category.
I hear you. I think they got to move Jazz back to second. It can't be DJ if they want the best defense. They gotta find a solid right-handed third baseman
infield bat, and they don't really need pitching right now. But if they went and made a splash for a pitcher like DeGrom or Sale, that's like icing on the cake because pitching. We all know that pitching. It really gets it done in the playoffs. So, if we got Fried and Sale or DeGrom and Rodon looks like as Rodon's beard got thicker, he pitched better. So, the only reason I'm okay with the beard thing now. Rodon is finally Rodon again. So, let's go. We're good on pitching. We got power. We have defense. Volpe will figure it out. He's way ahead in all his numbers of all his previous 2 years. So everybody should get off of Volpe's back. Let him be a young boy and let him learn. He'll be great. He'll be a Yankee forever. We don't need him to be Jeter. We have Judge. We have Stan.
Thanks for the call, John. 888-808-1019. Yeah, I hear you. These are all things we're talking around. With Ben Rice and them giving him his first start at catcher, I had no problem with that. I'm not saying they need his bat in the lineup. They want his bat in the lineup. This is a guy who hits the ball hard. This is a guy who was able to lead off for the Yankees. This is a guy that they don't want to see glued to the bench. But Ben Rice coming into the game as a lefty bench bat facing a right-handed reliever, that makes you feel pretty decent. He's young. He is not going to get the nod over Paul Goldschmidt, over Giancarlo Stanton. What they're doing is they're figuring some things out. They have the opportunity here to platoon at multiple positions. They have, honestly, too many players for a lot of positions right now. I expect that to change at the deadline. And you said something, we're good with pitching. We're never good with pitching. And it's never the problem in October. But as soon as you start thinking you're good, somebody gets hurt. As soon as you start thinking you're good, somebody fails. Somebody, turns back into a pumpkin, like I just said about Clay Holmes. I would get another starter. Who are your three starters in the postseason? Max Fried, Rodon, and then who? Clark Schmidt? It's not going to be Yarby, and it's not going to be Will Warren. Luis Gil's coming back. So maybe it's Luis Gil. Let's see how Luis Gil looks, and then I'll say whether I think we're good with starting pitching, but always got to see what's available for the bullpen. Pitching. And a right-handed third baseman would be nice. Not Miguel Andujar. Maybe Ryan McMahon. I'm not completely against Eugenio Suarez. I'm not completely against it. I just want them to stack the deck. I want the team to be better. I want the team to be prepared for whatever comes. I want the team to be, right now they have a lot of guys, but I want them to have a lot of guys. I want them to have a bench. I want them to have, they're going to have different lineups. I want them to have many options and things that they can throw at opposing teams. Let's go to Ed in Mohegan on the Fan. Ed, what you thinking?
Hey, man, well, you know what? I'm digging the show. I love your show. I love you at night. Just reminds me of Art Rush Jr. in the old days. When you listened to the radio before you became a jock, did you ever call in?
I tried, but never successfully. I think I tried to call WFAN. I tried to call other stations, and I never.
You never got through. You never got in before.
Never got on. And I think I remember one time holding for like 30 minutes, and then I quit. I was like, I'm never going to try and be a caller.
Well,
again.
the reason I bring it up, you kind of threw me for a curve there, but there's a lot of callers out there too that feel the same way. You remember certain calls for whatever reason, like even if it was 20, 30 years ago, that time I spoke to Chris or Mike or Steve or whoever. There was a time, I remember in 98, before they won the series, but it was middle of the season, and I remember calling into Mike and the Mad Dog, and I'm telling him, it's like people really need to, it got boring. They were winning every series, sweeping. It got to I think they clinched in 98 before Labor Day. The team behind them was the Red Sox. They were 22 games over 500 and 22 games out of first place at the end of the season. It was just sick how good they were. And I called up and I said, that doesn't happen. You're going to get the best teams in the world doing what the Yankees did this day, like losing 6 in a row. By the time the end of the season comes, they're going to be in the playoffs. Nobody's going to remember that. It's such a long season, and I know it's great fodder for the airwaves, but honestly, I just feel you got to play the game out, enjoy it, don't get so freaked out. It makes me think, like, what would happen if talk radio was huge during the 80s or even the early 70s, late 60s when the Yankees were just horrible. We haven't seen that.
Thanks for the call, Ed. I think there's been a balance. I think that through this last week of the Mets losing, the Yankees losing, we have been able to overreact, which is fine. But we've also pointed out that, like, we don't believe that this is the real version of these teams. We've also pointed out that we know that this will pass. This is baseball. I don't know if, I have said, hey, be careful with your takes. I'm not calling anybody a bust. I'm not calling for anybody's job. I'm not saying that anybody should be benched. I'm not saying that. I haven't said any of that. I said they got to figure it out. They got to break out of it. I don't know what they got to do. But that's part of it. These are sports fan conversations for all to hear. And you know what? All of us as individuals are completely different. There are some people, I guess, that slept perfectly fine this week with the Yankees not scoring, not winning. Not me. I guess there were some people that just had the foresight that come Thursday, that day game, that's the game. But for the purposes of hosting a show, when the teams are losing and struggling, and you talk about the thing, like we talked about the base running, we talked about the bunting, we talked about all that, like it's fine. It's done now. It's in the past. And we know how many years. I don't know how many stats we pulled. I think we pulled a stat this week that the last time a team had been shut out for 3 straight games and made it to the World Series was the 1913 Philadelphia A's. And like, you laugh at a stat like that. You don't take that and say, this means that the Yankees cannot win the World Series, close up shop, season's over. That does it. They can make history. They can right the ship. And that's what we're hoping for. 888-808-1019. And I don't mind the overreaction. What I mind is the overreaction when you say some ridiculous things that are just like, come on, yo. When you project into the future and you can't predict the future, or somebody has a bad week. We've all had bad weeks at work. We've all had bad weeks with our family, friends, relationships. you get over it. It passes, and that happens in baseball every year, all the time. And let's hope that it's passed for the Yankees. I don't know where wow. As I go back to the Mets game is now no longer on my screen in here for SNY. Did Brazoban ended up giving it up? It went from being 3-1 to now 7-1 Braves. Let me take a look at what happened here. We got to take a break. 888-808-1019. The Mets are down 7-1 to the Braves, top 7. They are a handful of outs away from being swept in Truist Park. The Pacers are up 39-33 in Game 6 of the finals, and Tyrese Halliburton seems to be fine. Keith McPherson on the Fan with 30 minutes left before we get to the Giants minicamp show. If you want to add anything to my show, call up. We'll be right back.
Meetings, errands,
Yo, let me holler at y'all for a minute, man. Everybody usually in the chat is cool, copacetic. And I don't mind this loser pulling up and adding to my YouTube, my monetized YouTube that I actually get checks for. But I gotta always address it. I address the love. Why not address the hate? Let me see where this is. The DEI hire corny as hell. On Juneteenth, this is how you move in. Diversity, equity, inclusion hire corny as hell. I've addressed this 1,000 times. For me to get this job through DEI, this is a term that came up in recent time, I guess the last 5 years. Couldn't be further from the truth. What it does, and I'm going to educate some people in here. When people say you're a DEI hire, they want to strip you of your talent. They want to strip you of your education. They want to strip you of your resume and the work that you did to be who you are and get where you are. And they want to minimize it and just say, you got hired because you're black. You know how dumb that is? The only other black host here is Tiki Barber. You know how dumb that is? If it was that simple, there should have been more. There should be a lot more people hired. This guy goes on and says, bro tries to act black but is white as hell. Oh my. Ugh. Open your eyes. You don't see this black skin, this black hair. There is no acting. I'm not acting. I'm not white, but you're dumb as hell. Because when you're well spoken, like I'm literally getting paid for my voice and how articulate I am. That's why I host a radio show that everybody in New York can hear. They can hear me from Maine to Virginia. You don't get on the radio. You don't get on TV if you can't speak. But what you're trying to say is because he's well spoken, he's white. But I guess you're looking at the way I'm dressed, right? Because I got on a headband, I got the locks, I got on a basketball jersey. That's me acting. Am I wearing a costume? These are my clothes. Cover your small biceps, cuck. Nah. That's genetics, my black genetics, and my work ethic in the gym. But we can't see you, sept. We have no idea who you are. You're a freaking loser. You're in my chat hiding. You came to watch me. You came to listen to me. Make sure you click like while you're in here. Make sure you click like while you're in here. And you know what? I know for a fact you would never pull up on me. I'll be at Fanatics Fest all day tomorrow. I'll be at Yankee Stadium tomorrow night. Fanatics Fest all day Saturday, Sunday. If there's anything you would like to discuss in person, I'm not hard to find. I'm not. Come see me. Come see me. I would love to have a conversation with you in person about anything you have an issue with. Anything at all. Anything at all. That's the end of my TED Talk. Back to the rest of the chat. So I saw Mel was like, yo, I heard Big Zoo cranking out them beats. Zoo is the best. Zoo always has bangers. Zoo is just musically inclined, and I trust Zoo to, usually I have like a playlist of beats, and I tell some of the producers, like, yo, go to these beats. But Zoo always got the beats. I'm checking the train right now because I'm out of here in 30 minutes less. This stream is going to end in like 25 minutes. Let's see. 10:08. I'll be on the 10:08. CJ Stroud will be at Fanatics Fest tomorrow. I'm definitely going to go see his panel. Bumping the fan while I'm on the Henry Hudson trying to get to the crib and watch this Mets game. Hopefully I can catch it. It's over. It's over. Their offense has been stifled. They're not coming back. The Braves aren't going to blow this game with their bullpen. Wish I was able to go to Fanatics Fest. They got to bring one to Utah. Miguel Andujar, they're not giving anything up for Miguel Andujar. Yo, will we have another break? All right, bet. Patricia Betty Phillips reposted this stream. Thanks. They all strike out, but I don't know the numbers of McMahon versus Suarez. I didn't see that in real time. Suarez is solid. I think he'd be a good Yankee. Mama Duba. Hi. Same guy from last year. Yeah, but like so that guy is a Keith McPherson fan. He might even be my biggest fan. This is Stan. Like, you keep coming back to hate and get attention. I'll give you the attention. I'll give you the attention. Yeah, I can go back retroactively and ban. All right, let's get back to the show.
Oh, yeah. Summertime. Time to sit back and unwind. We're in it now. It's hot now. Even today when I woke up, like, I went to bed late because I did the show late last night. And I knew that today being Juneteenth, the new holiday that's only been around for 4 years. I have my son and my wife home. Everybody's off. And I've been in the gym type crazy. Shout out to the chat. Somebody just told me put the biceps away. No, sir. Sun's out, guns out. I did all those curls for the girls. But my whole thing, I was like, all right, I got to go to the pool. I got to be the most in shape dad at the pool. Quietly, I just want to take a look around and be like, yeah, I got everybody. Not only was I the most in shape dad at the pool, I was the most in shape guy at the pool. It's a flex. It's a flex to take the basketball jersey off, and they like, yo, hold on, you got the pecs and the six pack. Like, yeah, I got that's how I'm coming. And it got packed by I think I went to the pool by 11 a.m. in my building. By the time 12 came, I was out of there. It was the most packed I ever saw it. I'm like, it's a holiday. It's finally hot out. Everybody's out here. They're bringing their kids out. Whatever. I'm like, all right, I had enough. And then the rain came, and I was like, well, we're in the summer now. We are in the summer now. 888-808-1019. It is great. We are blessed to see another summer. Fanatics Fest this weekend. The Yankees are here. Before you know it, the Mets will be back. I just went and checked the Mets score. Going to the bottom of the seventh here in the Big A, Truist Park. Yeah, the Braves have a 6-run lead, and I just don't see their bullpen blowing this. But come on, make it happen, Mets. Maybe the Mets can make a run here, but this is a tough one. This is a tough one because you got swept by Tampa in your building. Then you go down to Atlanta, where you've had so many bad moments over the years, feeling like, okay, we've got the upper hand on them this year. We're going to go down there and pick up where we left off from, game 161 last year. And nope, the Braves remind everybody that they are the Braves. And when they see blue and orange from the Mets, they just find different ways. And these are 3 different games. The Mets blew that first game late. Chris Sale came out and absolutely shoved in the second game. And in this game tonight, they were right there, but Clay Holmes just kind of threw too many pitches, walked too many guys, ran out of gas, and then the bullpen blows it. And it isn't even like the Braves have 7 hits, They don't have any homers. They have 2 doubles. It's the walks. 9 walks? Frankie is in Bethpage on the Fan. What's up, Frankie?
Hey, Keith. Thanks for taking my call. Listen, this is just ridiculous. 6 in a row to 2 mediocre teams. And listen, the pitching was the main concern coming into the year, but this is just ridiculous. These guys are walking everybody, Canning, Holmes, all these guys that have been great this year are just struggling now. It's ridiculous. And then you have Francisco Alvarez. Let me say something about this guy. He needs to be sent to AAA. He is terrible. Terrible. I can't stand watching him. Listen, he seems like a great person, but he just needs to get. He has to get.
Did he struggle behind the plate tonight defensively? I'm in here hosting the show and watching the NBA Finals. And did he struggle behind the plate tonight?
I don't think so, but
I know he had 2 strikeouts. I'm looking at the bottom of the order for the Mets. It's not great because McNeil's got 2 strikeouts. Tyrone Taylor's got 2 strikeouts. Alvarez got 2 strikeouts. And that's your 6, 7, 8 hitters.
It's terrible. I don't know what to say. Like, listen, I know in a baseball season you have ups and downs. This is just insane.
It'll pass, and that's what I've had multiple calls today say it's baseball. These hosts are reacting. There's so much overreaction. The callers overreact. It'll pass, but you know how it passes? They step up and they make it. They change. They hit and they pitch and they make it change. It doesn't just change on its own because there's another team on the other side that wants to win. Thanks for the call, Frankie. 888-808-1019. That's what I was saying about the Yankees. I was like, you think Ron Washington and the Angels don't want to come to New York and sweep the Yankees? You think that they want to give an inch? They don't. You think they're not saying, hey, don't let up. The world is watching us because this is the almighty Yankees in Yankee Stadium. This is their first big slump of the year, scoreless streak, losing streak. Guess who's the beneficiary of that? Us. The world gets to see Joe Adell and Nolan Shanuel and Zach Neto. And hey, not for nothing, Mike Trout still got it. Mike Trout balled in this series. 888-808-1019. John is in Maspeth on the Fan. John, what are you seeing?
Keith, that last caller, man. You got the nerve to say that the Mets just lost just games to 2 mediocre teams? Tell me since one of the Rays and the Braves mediocre teams. They're not mediocre. They're better teams. They're better than
They're
the
better
Mets.
than the Nationals.
All
They're
right?
better than the
Next
Rockies.
time, whoever that last caller was. All right? They're better teams.
Historically better, but early on in the season, the Braves have 33 wins. Like somebody just said in the chat.
I don't care. These piss poor Mets now are what, like 6 and 18 now, the middle of May against teams that aren't the Rockies, the Nationals, or like the White Sox. Come on. It's got the nerve to say the Rays and Braves are mediocre. Nah, the Mets are mediocre, right? You guys only beat these crappy ass teams. But then when you guys play real teams, you struggle.
They're in first place. They're the number 1 team in the National League. They got one of the best records in baseball. Well, they had.
Slowly dwindling away. It's slowly dwindling away. Now that Clay Holmes is, the next one down. Senga was down. McGill's down. AJ Minter down. Max Chronic down. Now it looks like Clay Holmes can't handle anything. Can't even get past the 5th inning. Throwing 104 pitches. Walking 6 or 7 guys. He's shot. He threw 63 innings.
But listen,
in the last 3
they're about to
He's at 90 plus now.
They're about to bring Frankie Montas back. Frankie Montas will fix all this.
Yeah, Frankie Montas. Yeah, the only thing Frankie Montas is good at doing is freaking stealing money. That's the only thing he's good at. $34 million to shit the first half of the year out. He's paid him pretty much 2 years to do nothing. The only thing Frankie Montas is doing is cashing that damn check every damn 2 weeks or a month or whatever.
Mike Boomer reported today that Frankie Montas is set to join the Mets and will likely start against the Braves next week.
Please, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to open up that FanDuel app when he starts, man. I'm gonna give myself a little vacation.
Thanks for the call, John. 888-808-1019. I mean, Tampa is not. I mean, they're on a decent run. They're a second place team, but I don't look at Tampa like the Yankees should have swept Tampa in Tampa in their spring training home this year. I don't look at them as a top team. Historically, yeah, they always find a way. They've got a good manager. The Braves started off terribly this year, but guess who's giving them life right now? Guess who is breathing life into the Atlanta Braves that we thought were dead as a doornail? They lost so many games, even if they are getting Spencer Strider back, Ronald Acuna. But there also are fans that said can never count the Braves out. Saw what they did a couple years back, 2022. And now I listen to Brian Snicker's logic for taking out Chris Sale, and he said something along the lines of, if we're going to make a run at this thing, we're going to need every bullet in that arm. Oh, wait, like, aren't you going to trade Chris Sale? And like, no, the Braves, 6 games under 500 right now. But when you look at the standings, the Braves feel like we're not out of anything, and there's a lot of baseball left. So the Braves sweeping the Mets right here is the series that tells them, hey, if the Mets are the number 1 team in the National League, the first place team in our division, and they just came in our building and we swept them, we're not out of anything. We're 5.5 games out of a wild card. That's subject to change. We don't have to be sellers. We got to play better. And they started playing better right now. Joe is in. Ooh, Joe, I'm sorry. We got a break. I didn't even realize the time. I'm running out of time fast. I need a 5-hour KM to AM, bro. There's a lot more that we could do here. Let's take this break. When we come back, Joe and Bridgeport will come up next. Mike and Tom's River will come up. And if we can sneak another call in, dial 888-808-1019. We're talking about the Mets. We're talking about the Yankees. And then it's the Giants mini camp show coming up at 10. BRB.
It's Boomer and Theo. Mornings on the Fan. 101.
Yep, wrap this up.
All right, I'm back. This is the end of this show and stream. Let me see where you guys are at in the chat. All day, every day, flexing on them. Not even on purpose. The Yankees went. See you at Fanatics Fest. Finally, the Yankees win to cash that. 9 walks. That's the game. Correct. The umps have been terrible for the Yankees this whole week. There's been egregious calls from Boston to the Angel series. Braves only get up for the Mets. Yeah, but this could be something that they build off of. I bet good money the Braves lose their next series against the Marlins. Yeah, probably. If he starts against the Braves, take the over, and a bigger bet, take the over on the Braves team total. Pull up, LOL. That caller sounded like he might have been the dude asking Mike for change at the liquor store. Marcus said that in the chat. Here we go. Tiki was hired because he's a borderline NFL Hall of Famer. He's also a radio professional, and this is the home of the Giants. I was not comparing myself to Tiki Barber. This guy is an idiot. This guy, when I mentioned, right, so this must be your other burner, your other account. Let me educate you again. You referred to me as a DEI hire, which is basically saying that I'm only here to cross off a box to say that we have diversity. The only other black host that you hear full-time on this station is Tiki Barber, who is 50-some years old. And Tiki got here through being on the radio, being on TV, but also being a professional athlete. I'm not a professional athlete. I went to school for radio and television. I got dropped in here from doing podcasts and social media. I've been on the radio 4 years in the #1 market. Not comparing myself to Tiki Barber, but you do the comparison. If there are only 2 black hosts and one of them is an former NFL running back, Hall of Famer, that's 50-some years old, then little old me, which one do you think is harder to do? Which job you think is harder to land? I didn't play in the NFL. Yeah, the K and the AM. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. They be big mad. You be big mad because you're a loser. You be big mad because you'll never be anything.
Well, I need dollar, that's what I need. Said I need dollar. How to Make It in America. Remember that? If you watched that, you might be too young for that.
Oh, I know it, though. I never really sat down and watched it. I need to.
So, How to Make It in America. Kid Cudi was actually in that show. How to Make It in America was a brief show on HBO with these like 3 dudes in New York trying to make it. I forget what they did. One guy had like a corporate job, and I remember he was down to his like last $1,500, and he was just down on his luck. I felt so bad for the dude. I'm like, I don't know how you. I think another guy worked at a clothing store, but it was basically them just trying to like live, work, survive in New York, and make it in America. And that was the intro song. I need the dollar is what I need. Hey, hey. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put some dollars on the Mets right now. What are the Mets on the FanDuel app to come back here to make it happen? Mets to rally in the 9th, down 6 runs.
And listen, Raisel Iglesias has like what, a 7 ERA or something?
I just don't see it, bro. I don't see the Braves losing this. I don't see the Braves bullpen blowing this one. Tonight's Rico Bronya is gonna be epic. I gotta get home to make sure I can watch it. Watch Evans Rico Bronya
YouTube channel. But hey, listen, you can tune in right here and you can be listening to a little Giants mini camp action with our guy Schmelk and Tatino in a little bit. That'll be a fun one.
I think that'll be a welcome break from the baseball. Like I said, I was getting the itch this week. I said we need football. How all the negative talks felt like Jets and Giants talk. Well, you actually have some real Giants talk coming up. And I think these guys are going to hit you with some things coming out of minicamp. If you're not all on the internet, if you're not all on Twitter following this stuff, stay tuned for the Giants minicamp show. They're going to let you know what Jackson Dart looks like. They're going to let you know what Abdul Carter has looked like, how the different additions to the offense and defense have looked. Russell Wilson. I'm looking forward to that. That's coming up next. Let me take my calls and I'll get out of the way. I said we were going to go to Joe in Bridgeport, Connecticut first. Joe, you're on the fan.
Hey Keith, what's going on? Thanks for taking the call.
No problem.
I have two quick points. First of all, to that bum Yankee fan who just called before. You know, he was saying that the Rays and Braves are the only good teams the Mets have played. What about the Dodgers? How do the Yankees do against the Dodgers? Aaron Judge still can't hit in the postseason. And by the way, that Yankee fan who called, he was probably one of the people who were booing Aaron Judge when he was on this during his past 6 games when they were losing. He's probably booing him because he still thinks he can't hit in the postseason. I personally think Aaron Judge is one of the best players of all time, but that's beside the point. My second point is that to the Met caller who called before, you're talking about the walks. The walks is a one-off. The Mets pitching has been great up until now. This walk situation, I'm going to believe that this is a one-off. My main problem is that it's the hitting. The hitting has not been showing up. Fine, they put up 4 runs. That was in the first 3, 4, 5 innings. What about hitting later on? I'm missing the time when the Mets couldn't score with runners in scoring position. Can you get me some runners in scoring position at this point? I'm desperate. They're not scoring any runs, not hitting when it counts. And it's clearly showing. This team is clearly in a funk right now. And tomorrow they're going to be going into Philly against Zach Wheeler, throwing a bullpen game. This could only get worse right now.
Thanks for the call, Joe. It's frustrating. And I know you definitely don't want to hear John from Maspeth talking about the Mets on the air because John is the guy rolling up to Citi Field and trolling. Now, John has literally made it part of his whole shtick and persona to be, anti-Mets all the time. People think that's me. I'm not like that all the time. I just lean in when need be. Now's not a time to lean in. You don't need me to troll the Mets getting swept by your arch nemesis, the Braves. You don't need me to say anything to make this worse. I'm about to get out of here. Like that's something for y'all to stew over. That's for you to watch Evan Roberts, Rico Bronia on YouTube and get in the chat and talk about, not scoring with runners in scoring position and 11 strikeouts tonight. So the Mets have 11 strikeouts on offense, but then they walk 9. Like that's not a recipe for success. Striking out 11 times and then giving them 9 walks when you're facing a sweep, that's basically giving them the game. They're 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, 5 left on base. 1 double from Nimmo. Other than that, let's look at, I think I was listening to Sean's show. He said he was going to put money on Lindor to homer. Lindor had been very accountable. And last night he said, it's hard to get going when your leadoff hitter doesn't do it. And, he was pointing the finger at himself. Lindor, another 0 for night. He worked a walk, but not a hit. And you got to hit refresh on your information. Lindor is in a bad stretch right now. In his last 7 games, 3 hits and 6 strikeouts, batting 120. On base percentage, 267. If you even go back and you extrapolate that to 15 games, batting 211 with 12 strikeouts, 12 hits, 1 homer, 4 ribbies. He has cooled off. The generational Juan Soto, who everybody told me was back and told me that, hey, you guys peacocked and laughed and celebrated Juan Soto's slow start. Juan Soto's having a slow year, but he did reach his milestone tonight. Pete Alonso has not had the opportunity to be MVP and cash in. The Mets have injuries, and the Mets have mounting issues at a couple different spots, whether it's catcher, whether it's this infield, with guys like Beatty being hurt, Vientos being hurt, relying on Mauricio every day. Okay, Marte gets a hold of one, hits one off the wall. Ronald Acuna Jr. plays it off the bounce. That's a double for Marte in the 9th. There's 1 out. Maybe the Mets can rally and score some runs here, make it interesting. But yeah, it's tough. Losing streak continues for the Mets if they don't score 6 runs with these next 2 outs. Mike is in Tom's River on the fan. Thanks for holding, Mike. You got it.
Hey, Keith. Thanks for having me on.
So I got a couple of Yankee things to go through here. But first off, John from Mazbeth, he speaks truth there. The Mets haven't really beaten anybody this year other than the series against the Dodgers. I think they played like the second or third most amount of games against teams under 500. So long summer, especially with that staff they have and everything. But I don't really want to talk about the Mets. A couple things here on the Yankees. You think Stanton coming back, you think that kind of had a trickle-down effect on a lot of these guys being that they're young players like Dominguez and Ben Rice and, Griffin being free agent coming up this year. These guys all knew that their playing time was going to be compromised as well as Goldschmidt. And, they talked about it for weeks leading up to the Stanton coming back, a lot of drama behind that. And, a lot of these guys are putting a lot more pressure on themselves and kind of, that's what kind of did them in there.
I don't know. I feel like they've known Stanton was going to come back for a while. I feel like around the team, and they asked somebody about Stanton's return. They've all said he makes us better, and Stanton came back hitting right away. I don't think there's been too much of a trickle down effect. I think they just ended up in a slump. I think they just ended up in a situation where the weather wasn't good, and maybe they were feeling down from going to Fenway and back-to-back weekends not getting it done there. They just ran into a slump and a losing streak and a scoreless streak. I wouldn't put anything on Stan. Stan, he came through and helped.
Oh, well, I'm not saying like necessarily against him, but just having these guys in the back of their mind being like, oh, Big G's coming back, and I'm going to lose at bats. I got to perform here. I got to outperform. My teammates here. But obviously, the lineup looks a lot better when you have him batting behind Judge. I don't think so much they make a big deal about the lineups. There's no one out there in the game other than Ohtani who's going to protect Judge. Judge is only going to be able to protect himself, and I think that's what you saw up in Fenway. He was expanding out of the strike zone a lot, trying to do a little bit too much. One thing I think the Yankees are the way they're set up. I love the team. I love what they did at the beginning of the season, but they have a really weird roster when you look at it. Jason Dominguez is a guy who's got to play every single day. I think he's better served if he's not going to play every day. He's got to be down in the minors, or like you said earlier, maybe they flip Trent Grisham since he's going to be a free agent.
Mets lose. Mets are swept in Atlanta by the Braves. Final score of 7-1. I'm listening. Go on.
Love to hear that. So definitely, they got to get a right-handed hitting infielder. Jazz is best served at second base, and I don't know. I watch every single game, just about every single inning. The guy, he's one who shows his emotions. You can tell he wants to be at second base. He's another guy, free agent in a walk year, knows that's where I'm comfortable. That's where my offensive skill sets really bring a lot to the table playing second base.
Yeah, maybe they get him there. Thanks for the call, Mike. I think he's just going to do what's best and say what's best for the team. Sorry, Brian on Long Island, get in there. Ran out of time.
Hello.
Go for it.
Chapman to the Yankees for Jason Dominguez, Ian Hamilton, and Pereira. It's been all over, and they're talking about the San Francisco Giants are talking. The beat writers are talking about it.
Matt Chapman, I'll take him. They're going to put Devers at third base. I'll take him. I don't think they're going to do that though. All right, well, I'm out of here, but I'll be back Saturday live from Fanatics Fest. Sunday Sauce live from Fanatics Fest. Thanks for everybody that called in, everybody in the live chat, and obviously Big Zoo producing this thing, dropping the beats. Stay tuned for the Giants mini camp show coming your way next. Let's go, Yanks. I'm out of here. Good night. Like, you're on my meat, bro. Like, you're making accounts to come and comment. You gotta get off my gonads, bro. You on meat. At least Evan Roberts respects when people call him on afternoon drive. You ain't built for that. You angry? What are you talking about, bro?
the like it's crazy, bruh. To like for me to have to block you and then you're making multiple accounts. Yeah, I'll keep responding because I'm getting paid for all of this, bro. You're in my chat. My Twitter is monetized. My YouTube is monetized. All you're doing is adding engagement to me. But what I'm saying is, bro, I have gone to block you, and every time I've blocked you, you've come back. You're taking time to go make another account. Do you understand the level of meat riding that is? You are an anonymous child, I assume. Go do anything else. Like what do you do when I end this stream? What do you do when I disappear from your eyes? Watch, I'm about to hit you with the Sergi blocker again. And then you up out of here, partner.
Good evening at 10 o'clock.